Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
Hello everyone, meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you once again. We have severe thunderstorms continuing across the area. Wanted to give you an update of what we have going on. We have active warnings continuing, watches in the area until 10 o'clock, and we're going to take a look across our area at the forecast and also the national weather as the severe weather risk spreads all the way south into Texas. As is always the case, please follow me here on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like what's going on here. And I got to tell you, if you have reports of what's going on, we're going to show you some pictures, but your reports are huge. They help us see what's going on because some of our areas are quite rural. And without your reports, such as those provided tonight to Hutch by Cody, then, well, I wouldn't have much information to share with you. But there is a progression of things we're going to start with just to show you what can happen even here in North Dakota and the Valley. First, let's start off with a look at what we have going on the radar. Here we go. The region of interest tonight, active severe thunderstorm watches in yellow showing up right here that you see across the nation, all the way from North Dakota, including Fargo and Grand Forks, through parts of southwestern Minnesota, not Minneapolis, but southwestern Minnesota, Sioux Falls, all the way south through South Dakota, central South Dakota. We also have much of western Nebraska, western Kansas. There are tornado watches in red here for parts of Oklahoma and the Panhandle of Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, and even down in the Rio Grande Valley. Chance for some severe thunderstorms tonight, and in fact, active warnings across the board. Now, we do have some in our area. Let's get right to what we have going on. First, though, I want to share with you some content that was shared with me by viewers like you. And again, I appreciate your reports so very much. Here you go. You're watching Hutch's weather now. Thanks a lot to my friend Cody Mack for checking out what was going on in the skies over the valley. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. Clouds towering off in the distance. You see this little lowering here. See the towers rising. Looks pretty inconspicuous, to say the least. But Cody waited and watched. And without this report, the National Weather Service would have never known that this was happening. Cody snapped this. This is a tornado. It's in contact with the ground. There's rain falling on both sides. So oftentimes these tornadoes can become rain wrapped. This is a big tube-shaped tornado. We can have these skinny little rope things that happen. This, not a skinny little rope-shaped thing. Hutch was on live covering this storm, showing you the rotation of it, when it happened, while it happened, and as the warning was issued. Thanks to Cody Mack for sharing with me. Now let's check this out. Another shot of the same big, huge tornado becoming more engulfed in rain. You see the dark around it getting wrapped with rain. Luckily, this puppy just landed out in the middle of the fields of Stutzman County in the northern reaches. I also want to show you this. Do you see this other little lowering on the backside here? Some of these storms can have multiple areas of rotation. This may have been one of them. The other thing to kind of see here that's really crystal fun and crystal clear is thunderstorms often have a flat base, but this area right here, that's called a lowering of the cloud base, called a wall cloud. That's what you're seeing here, another wall cloud. So wall clouds are attached to the thunderstorm, and it's where most tornadoes of significance are noted. So Cody Mack, thank you so very much for allowing me to share these with the viewers. Here's another shot from a cell phone. You can just see the magnitude and the size of that storm that worked its way through. Now, let's get to the active weather that we have going on right now. And if you have questions, as is always the case here on Hutch's Weather, I invite you to drop a note. All right, I already see a few highs coming in. Shaylin, thank you for joining from Perham. Good to see you. What's up, Deborah? Good to have you on board. Hi again from Grand Forks. Julie, thank you. And boy, I got to tell you, what about the 11-day outlook? We'll get to the forecast of the next several days coming up. But first, we have a lot of weather like this. Hopefully, we're done with the tornado risk. But I do got to tell you, we still have severe weather right here in the Red River Valley, from the Red River Valley of North Dakota to the Red River Valley of Texas. All right, let's talk about it, shall we? Let's go first and foremost to the radar of the nation. You're going to see here all of the watch areas. In our area, we're going to go skirt the nation. The yellow boxes are the severe thunderstorm watches. We have flood advisories for parts of Stutsman County where storms were just stationary. Severe thunderstorm warning for Valley City and Jamestown. Flood warning in Jamestown. Coverage coming shortly. Aberdeen, north of you, Brown County, seeing severe thunderstorms and a smattering of them right along and near the I-90 corridor from Pierre through Huron. Looks like the Chamberlain area, and there's a tornado warning right here that is in effect to the north of the Yale area, north and east of you in Huron, South Dakota. Tornado warning also in parts of northern and western Nebraska. This is just to the north of Harris as we see it's moving down towards Mullen. And then we also have severe thunderstorm warnings on a huge line. This is likely a Boeing line segment making its way out of the Ogallala area right toward North Platte. Now the storms continue straight down into Kansas, Dodge City, seeing some showers and storms off to the west. And here's where the tornado watch is, where we have active severe thunderstorm warnings right now in Amarillo, up near Borger, as well as south of Canyon. These storms spread all the way south to the Mexican border. Check this out, a tornado warning out here not far from Sanderson in West Texas. These are firing along the dry line a little farther to the east in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, getting hit hard with flooding rains from Denison, McKinney, Fort Worth, right down into the southern part of Texas near Killeen. We have active storms working their way through. Now let's look at the North Dakota area where we have active severe thunderstorm warnings in the Devil's Lake Basin. We're going to go right to the Jamestown area first. Let's get right to it. First and foremost, thanks again for watching. And again, I got to tell you what, these storms tonight are going to be some slow progressors. They are heading to the valley. We're not out of the woods, but the longer it takes for those storms to head into the Red River Valley of the north here, then the better chance we do to have to skirt by without any significant severe weather. Good evening, Stacy. Hello, Megan. Thank you so very much for your support, and I appreciate you passing the word right here that Hutch is on live. I got to tell you, working behind the scenes with my team on some awesome improvements to Hutch's weather. We're growing. Hutch's weather's growing. We'll talk more about that in a second. Right now, let's get to the radar data. I want to talk about Valley City. I want to talk about Jamestown. Let's get to the Jamestown $50 size hail and a tornado possible from this cell. That's right. So things have escalated pretty quickly here. Let's get to the radar up in North Dakota. This cell is moving through Bloom towards Spiritwood. There's the hail core. We see this notch taken out of the storm, and it's followed up by another one outside of the warned area. This is the one that we're worried about. It is passed just off to the east of the Jamestown area at this time. If you look at the loop of the last hour or so of radar data, you could see it's just skirting right along I-94 right now. Some sizable hail, upwards of 1 inch in diameter. And where you see the bite taken out of the storm, that is likely where we have the risk of that rotating part of the storm. Let's take a look, shall we? We can do this in a number of different ways. This is the storm relative velocity. Pardon me. We do see some light greens next to reds, so it's not completely evident that we have strong rotation with this particular storm. The inundated amount of rain here has caused the National Weather Service to issue a flash flood warning for observed flash flooding. Let's get to the top of that. Flooding from thunderstorms. First of all, thunderstorms most often produce flooding rains. So flooding is the most common factor with severe thunderstorms, and it is also the most deadly. On average, more people lose their lives to severe flash flooding and flooding than any other thunderstorm-related thing. So 1 to 3 inches of rainfall have fallen. 1 to 3 inches are possible continuing as more rain moves through the James River Valley. Remember, there's terrain in the James River Valley. That water rushes a lot faster than it does in the flatter terrain here of the eastern parts of North Dakota. So turn around, don't drown, find another way. It only takes 1 foot of rapidly moving water to sweep a person off their feet. And only as little as a couple of feet of water can sweep away large vehicles. So again, nothing to fool around with here. This is some serious business with regards to flash flooding in and around Jamestown as storms continue. See this little area here? There's another little couplet on the backside of this storm. It's outside of the warned area, but that is also an area of spin on this storm. I do want to take you to Valley City. The storm is not in your area yet. We got a new warning from the National Weather Service office for 3/4 inch hail and gusts of wind of around 50 miles per hour or so. Let's read what the Weather Service says to say. This is from Duluth, issued by Duluth, okay? Something must be going on in Grand Forks. I don't know what it is, but the Duluth National Weather Service says until 7 o'clock, a severe thunderstorm over rural parts of Barnes County, moving east at 25, 60-mile-per-hour wind, and 1-inch diameter hail is possible. And there is some indications of low-level rotation on this storm. Hutch is here to cover you through this one. Let's take a look at what we have going on the radar. I'm going to show you the normal view you are used to seeing. This is called the reflectivity. Flash flooding taking place. This heavy batch of rain has pushed and surged through Jamestown, and you have more on the way, folks. So that's a concern. This storm system does appear to be following almost due east, but just a tiny little bit of a southerly trajectory as it works its way toward the Valley City area. I'm going to go ahead and time this out. Again, the movement of this storm at about 25 miles per hour has the hail core moving in the general direction of Valley City. We're going to pop that speed up to 28 because there is a delay in my broadcast, and I want to take that into account, and I want to give you extra time to prepare. Eccleston within around 20 minutes. This is your time, Central Daylight Time. Add 20 minutes to that, and we're going to give ourselves closer to that, 6:40 time frame or so. Sanborn, it's on its way towards you, and upwards of an hour yet to get to the Valley City area. So keep that in mind. It sounds like I've got new warnings coming out too. So these storms are picking up some punch as they work their way off to the east. And again, there's some rotation and spin showing up with this. While I have this here and while I have the radar data on, I'm going to look at a couple of things to analyze this storm in real time. And what we're looking for here, you're looking at what's called the correlation coefficient. How much alike are the targets in the horizontal and vertical axis? Because there's two orientations to this radar beam that goes out, and we analyze both. If the horizontal and the vertical orientation are very, very similar, then the correlation is high, and we see red colors. If the correlation is low, we see blue colors. What we're looking for here is a low correlation for raindrops, okay, but a high correlation would be raindrops, so that'd be the red. So we got some red, pardon me while I turn this other tool off. The red moving into Jamestown is some heavy rain, but outside we have some greens and yellows. This could be the hail that's making its way in. And on the end, what we look for, if let's say debris is flown in the air, sometimes if you get dirt, dust, or anything else flying through the air, those objects are not alike at all. So the correlation is very, very low. So we might see some higher values here or reds. Now, when we take a look at the differential reflectivity here, this is how different are they. And the more different they are, well, then they will be red. And that would give us an indication that there may be something throwing up in the air or lofted up in the air. So let's go ahead and rotate this through. We kind of see these areas of red on the south side of the storm here. Is that something to be concerned about? Well, it does correlate with where we saw some spin. Put our marker here on the Homer area, okay? We're going to pause this. Now, as we look at the Homer area, we see some red being picked up on the storm. You see another little batch of red on the outside. Remember that storm that's following it up had some spin to it. Now we're going to look at where the spin is in the storm real quickly. Here's a look at the storm relative velocity. Where's Homer? Right here. Where's an area of spin? Right here. Where's another area of spin? This is very, very weak now, but there is one here. So this is a rotating couple of thunderstorms. There's not just one, there's a couple. Most of the rotating part of the storm is along and just south of Interstate 94. If you are in the path of this storm near Ypsilanti, if you are in the path of this storm near Homer, please seek shelter in an interior room. And I think it would be a fair idea to get to the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Don't try to ride this storm out in something like a mobile home or a camper or anything like that. So get yourself to some more sturdy structure out there. Let's revisit what's going on up in the Northland. This is even outside of the watch area, and we have a very, very strong thunderstorm rolling its way through Park River, heading towards you guys, Grafton, Lankin rather. And I just told you guys on my last update that I did not believe that there was going to be a significant risk of severe weather in your area. Guess what? Hutch was wrong. This is a severe thunderstorm. What's the risk from this one? It is wind, folks. You do see reds and greens next to each other, but they're separated by this white line. What that means to Hutch is it's a broad area of rotation like this. It's not that tight. When a radar sees a tornado, the reds and greens will be right next to each other with no white in between usually, okay? We don't see that, but this definitely has some inflow into the storm here, and this is outflow coming out. So what you're looking at here is a very huge, gusty burp of wind. That's right. This thing is belching some nasty winds right now, and it's moving through Adams, and it's moving right into Lincoln. So if you're in Lincoln, get prepared for this gusty wind to be blasting into your area. Let's read what the Weather Service says. Piesik, Park River, Edinburgh, Lincoln, you're all in the path of this storm. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail will be the main threat. This was until 7 o'clock, so it's for the next 39 minutes. It's moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So that's what the Weather Service is saying with this. I'm going to take a look at what the measurements are of how fast the winds are, and we'll take a look into the gut of this storm right here and see. Where we see these bright green colors, the brighter is the faster winds. So we see a cluster of pretty fast winds here, and the radar is picking up above the ground, way above the ground, 35 to 40 mile per hour winds. Not far from it, we got winds going the other direction, about the same. So you can guess that there's a little bit of a large scale spin in this storm on the southwest side. This is not far from Lincoln. So seek shelter in that interior room away from windows. And again, if you do have severe weather to report, just like my friend Cody Mack here reported to the National Weather Service that, hey, I saw this. This was in the Woodworth area in Stutzman County in North Dakota today. I saw this, and then the warning's issued because, yep, we got a tornado. Radars don't tell us a tornado is happening oftentimes. It tells us where it's most likely. Sometimes we get pretty confident that there's a tornado happening, but not with we're seeing here today. So I want you to continue with your reports. They're important. Now, if you see something like this, or if there's a warning for your area for a tornado, review with your family where you go. Tornadoes pick up debris. Do you see the debris from this puppy? That sand, that dirt, the straw, or even the bigger objects like tree branches and limbs, or bigger things still like cows or vehicles flying through the air at huge rates of speed. Even a pen like this, even Hutch's pen flying through the air at 100 miles per hour is like a projectile. It'll go right through my hand. Okay. If you get to a level that's below the ground, then you're below the level of the flying debris, and you give yourself and your family the best chance to survive a tornado. And in some tornadoes that are huge, it's the only way to survive a tornado because the winds can be up to 300 miles per hour. Now, that's not what I'm expecting in North Dakota tonight. But we have had the picture from Cody of a very strong and stout tornado. So we take very seriously now when we see some spin in these storms, and we watch them closely. And we rely on you. We rely on you to give us the reports. Any information on the FM areas, Mark, I've got you covered on the forecast here in just a minute. So I will get to that in just mere moments. I won't forget about you. I can assure you that. Severe thunderstorm warning does include Park River. We've got this rotating thunderstorm with very gusty straight line winds working out of it. I hadn't even measured these puppies over here with the bright green. But yeah, these are looking to be around 45 to 50 miles per hour. Outbound winds are about the same, 35 to 45 miles per hour. And they're right out here. They're off the ground. This is not what's hitting the ground. This is what's up in the sky. This can kind of come down and work its way down to the ground. Notice in Grafton here, we have a wind measurement. The wind is from the south. That's what this little blue thing tells Hutch, south at 10 knots. When this puppy gets there, your wind is going to shift and it's become westerly. So if you're in Lincoln, you're fixing to get blown by this wind from the west and northwest. And that's going to be making its way in pretty quickly. You may notice a huge temperature drop. Right now it's 68 in Grafton. What do we got on the other side of this system? It's not that much different, so I'm not going to make too big of a deal about that. But big time wind change about to hit your area. Okay, back down to the storm that's on the county line here with Barnes County and Stutzman County. Here it is. We do still have some spin showing up right here. This is what we would call gate-to-gate spin. There's a little white in between it, but that's a pretty stout area of rotation there. So this is another rotating storm south of Spiritwood, south of Interstate 94, not far from Ypsilanti. Hey, if you see anything, let me know what you're noticing here on the Facebook post or on my live right now going on for you YouTube viewers out here as well. Rob Robison, thank you very much for watching from New York Mills. I appreciate you too, Bob Winter. Thank you for sharing your kind words of support and encouragement. And I do got to say, it's been a long day, and it does look like we're going to continue with our thunderstorm chances. All of these yellow counties that you see here are in a severe thunderstorm watch. It includes the Wilmer area. It includes Fargo, and it includes Grand Forks. So when are the storms going to get to your neck of the woods? Let's go back in time, the areas that are going to see these storms making their way through. The very windy thunderstorms that we see now moving towards Park River, they're moving at an accelerated clip over what they were before. As I loop this through, they were making their way from the left side of your screen to the right side of your screen earlier and only about 15 miles per hour. It looks like they're more closer to the 25 mile per hour clip right now. Let me take a look at what the Weather Service is measuring. 35 miles per hour. So we will go ahead and estimate this one moving towards Grafton at 35 miles per hour. Yeah, the leading edge of the heavy rain. You're going to get sprinkles first, right? The light rain is moving into Grafton anytime. I'm going to estimate the speed just a little bit higher than what it says here because there is a delay in my broadcast and I'd rather have you prepare earlier than late. Lankin, 3 minutes. Seek shelter, interior room. I would go to the lowest floor because this could be a very windy thunderstorm, and there is some rotation on the south side of it. Pisac on around 18 minutes. It'll be near you. Kellogg by 39 minutes or so. You can keep track of the time right now, and you need to add. It's 6:30, 6:26, add 3 minutes. So before 6:30, it will be in Lankin. It's on the doorstep now with the heaviest rain and the gustiest wind. So these storms moving through central Walsh County or towards central Walsh County. You can see here they're a ways away from Drayton. What about you folks in Grand Forks? What do you have to worry about there? Let's go ahead and tell you when the rain showers are moving in. Notice there's nothing even big and ugly looking here. We'll take a look at the closest radar that we have to this one. And let me just pop that up, make sure we're looking at the closest radar, and we are indeed. So just double checking because I don't want no mistakes here. Okay, so these showers are moving east at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. Let's measure how far away they are. From Grand Forks, the main showers are, there we go. Let me remeasure. They're about 25 miles away. They're about an hour, maybe a little less away for this leading edge right here. That'll get to town first, but the main line out here will still be about an hour out. So we're talking about an hour. By 7:30, the heavier band of rain is pushing into Grand Forks. Crookston, you can expect it just behind that area as it works its way through to the east. What's going on in Minnesota right now? Fergus Falls, you have showers and storms. These are non-severe, but there's some lightning with them out right now. So you're seeing an onset of storms developing. Showed you this on a model run earlier, but there's a little bit of a warm front out here. Look at the temperatures to the south of that line, and it's in the 70s down here. We're in the 60s up north. So we got warmer air here. Look at this storm. As you can just see it spinning here near Huron. That is a tornado warning for those folks in that area. So we do have a few thunderstorms making their way through Elbow Lake, non-severe. Garfield, not far from Alexandria right now, non-severe. Fergus Falls and central Otter Tail County, non-severe. I don't expect these to become severe. The main event is out to the west and pushing into Valley City right now. How about Fargo? Here's Fargo. Let's get to Fargo right now. Let's see if I can find it. There we are. Wahpeton, Breckenridge, Fargo. This mess working its way right in a due easterly trek right along Interstate 94 is heading right towards Fargo, but it's a ways away yet. Notice this. This can throw Hutch's timing off. If this line builds back to the main line, we're going to get storms filling in here. We'll get them sooner. Okay. So I'm going to give you two scenarios for Fargo here. And the most likely one is this batch of nonsense out here that is rotating, heavy rain, tornado possible tag is what the National Weather Service says here. See that? The tornado is possible. 1.25 inch hail. That's big hail. And it's in western Barnes County right now. So that puppy is on its way to Valley City. And it's on its way in the direction of Fargo. Not guaranteeing it is going to get here. Let me tell you how far it is. You know that it's a good distance to Valley City. It's 68 miles from Fargo proper, and a little less than that from West Fargo. And for you folks in Mapleton, it'll be here a little bit sooner. How fast are these storms moving? We'll go in and analyze what these are saying here. General movement easterly at about 20 miles per hour, maybe a little faster. Let me look at another cell here. Pardon me. Okay, I got to turn on my my tracking lines here once. Okay, Maybe I'll need to restart my radar software. It's been ridden hard and working real hard today. These storms are generally moving at about 25 miles per hour. So again, if they're moving at 25 miles per hour or so, the core of this storm is working in its general direction towards the Valley City area. And in Valley City, it will be there by around 40 minutes. You've got some time yet to prepare for large hail and gusty straight line winds to 60 miles per hour. It looks like it might particularly be more problematic just south of Valley City in southern Barnes County. Catherine, Cuba, Fingal, if you're in those areas, be prepared. That storm is heading in your general direction. Now, here's how far it is away from Fargo. You can see the pink cores here from West Fargo and the at west edge of town. 73 miles away, moving at 25 miles per hour is still 2 or 3 hours away, 2.5 to 3 hours away. So 2.5 puts us at 7, 8, 9 o'clock. I've been saying around 9 to 11 here for the valley. That's what I'm thinking. 9 o'clock if they make it. There is just a subtle southerly drift to these storms. I will show you the loop of radar data. That means there's definitely a chance in Horace, Oxbow, Lisbon, northern parts of Richland County, and including Wahpeton, to see this more bend down in your general direction. If you are in Lemoore, if you are in Lisbon and Foreman, if you're in Gwinner, those storms could be heading in your general direction. We will just have to keep you posted with regards to that. So that's what's going on here. Pea-size hail reported 2 miles south of Jamestown right now. I'm going to like that. Thank you very much. Had nickel-size hail in Jamestown for the first part of the storm, and it's in the freezer now. Well, how about a picture, Amy? If you got it in the freezer, I would not put it in beverages or anything like that, but that's what I would do. I put my fun stuff in the freezer. Angie, thanks for your stars. David says, be safe. How about Fargo? We just covered that. You never tell me, Kay says. I'm sorry, Kay. I didn't catch your question. You never tell me. I live in Fisher, Minnesota. Kay, Fisher, Minnesota. You are going to be seeing showers and storms, but not till much later. So if you want to take a look at the timing of this, we'll take a look at the timing of this in just a little bit. It's not that I never tell you I'm addressing the more urgent stuff out here right now, but in Polk County, I do expect that we're going to be seeing, let's see, you're going to get rain first, just showers, and those aren't too far from you as we take a look at your area. But I got to tell you that, between that Crookston area and Grand Forks right here, we got some showers now. There is a risk of some windy thunderstorms, but the risk for severe. Notice you're not in a severe thunderstorm watch. So we don't expect these storms to cross into Minnesota, at least northwestern Minnesota, and be severe. But this puppy here, this windy line of storms here, that one is the exception. So that one would be heading more towards Stephen, Argyle, and on towards Carlstead on the Highway 11 corridor up there, okay? So not trying to ignore anybody. Please bear with me. Give me the grace to have a little bit of time to catch more questions. I'm going to do the goodest that I can. Grand Forks, Alex, I just kind of covered that. You got rain coming here about an hour out from the heavier rain. My goodness, Don, thank you for the stars. Your support is appreciated. Please share this with friends that are living in Walsh County, North Dakota, Stutzman County. A lot of graduations today across North Dakota. High school graduation parties alike. Fargo, I don't think we have to worry about this until later tonight. Lisbon, later tonight. But look at this along the South Dakota border here. We're looking at Frederick. We're looking at Westport and Hecla. These areas have a very stout and severe thunderstorm working its way in. Josh, thank you so very much for your support of stars. Hi, Paula. Good to see you. I'm looking for questions on all my channels here because I'm broadcasting to all of them at once. It's a fun thing that I can do here that makes it kind of fun and unique. And your reports make this excellent. Okay, Watertown, South Dakota. Watertown, South Dakota. We got a tornado warning out here near Willow Lake. Two of them. One near the DeSmit area, right over Bancroft, and another one near the Willow Lake area. Those storms are moving south of Watertown and right toward the I-29 corridor right now. For anyone traveling south on 29, send them a text message, get them to Hutch, maybe mark this spot and tell them to watch it because we have a tornado warning out there. We don't want anybody driving into these things unaware. Flood warnings continue for the area. Look at all of western Stutzman County. The Woodworth area capturing this earlier in the day from my friend Cody Mack. Thank you for your permission to share this with the viewers here on Hutch's Weather, Cody. I sure appreciate it. Here is a picture of that. And again, Cody capturing a huge tube-shaped tornado that formed, and this one became rain wrapped. You can see it here kind of taking on more rain around the outside, and sometimes they just flat out become invisible and you cannot see them. Couple things to see here from these lowering cloud bases like that is that that cloud gets a little closer to the ground. The closer they are to the ground, the better chance they have at making contact with the ground. Hi, Christina, asking about Devil's Lake. Let's go ahead and tell you that I do believe your area is out of the woods. Okay, look at the radar, and I will support that statement with this. The main line, the main event has passed out of the Devil's Lake area. Here's Devil's Lake. You see this little curl here? That's an area of low pressure. You might get some north winds. These should be changing around and becoming a little more northerly or westerly, and that's going to dry you out. So I think you're all but done. Devil's Lake is done. It's in Walsh County now, moving out of Nelson County into western Grand Forks County. Those are the areas of concern. The risk of severe up here near the border, Walhalla, all the way out towards Langdon and Emerson and Cavalier on Highway 5, not so great. Let's take time and let's take a look at what's going on the cameras across the region. I do like to use these because most of the time they're pointed at the pavement surfaces, but sometimes they can help us catch what's going on in areas that we can't see so well. So I'm going down to Jamestown, down to southern parts of Stutzman County, and we're not far from Ypsilanti here with this warning, and we have some low-hanging scud clouds here. This is rising air into the storm. Rising air cools as it rises, and it turns into a cloud. So it makes these clouds that are not attached to storm. If you look real closely, we got these little clouds, dangling clouds. I call them danglers. Those danglers down there are not attached to the storm. They're not funnels. They're not anything like that, but they're kind of like a scud cloud. But notice this whole area. See this flat area up here? I'm going to point to it right here. This flat area is the base of the thunderstorm. See it lowering here? That's a wall cloud. Okay, we're looking at this storm from Millerton, 281. That's a lowering of the cloud base. I'm looking to see if I see anything else. I wish this thing was live, then I could just see it if it was rotating or not. Takes a trained eye to see if a wall cloud is rotating. Wall clouds are big, so they rotate slow. Funnel clouds, they rotate a lot more quickly, so they're easier to see. So you really have to watch these broad wall clouds. It takes a trained eye. And my friends at the National Weather Service do training on this every year, severe weather spotter training. You can become a spotter too, and you can learn what part of the cloud to look for. We're looking for the rain-free base. We're looking for the lowering of the cloud. We want to be able to differentiate between these scary-looking scud clouds and a funnel or a lowering of the cloud base called a wall cloud. So there could be some of that going on right there. Let's look at another view from this same area. Ooh-wee. Look at these little low drifting clouds coming out and away from the storm as it's working through. You're probably seeing some incredible clouds in southern parts of Stutzman County right now. Here's another view. This is from the Gackle area. What do you got in Gackle? Boy, it looks like a cold gray day there now, doesn't it? Woo! Look at this. Cold gray, dark clouds skirting across the skyline, Gackle, Streeter, and there you go. Ooh, look at that beauty. See the color that's in there on the western left side of that? Just a beautiful scene out there. The weather isn't beautiful. Don't make mistake what I'm saying there, but that's what's going on there with the southern storms. Let's look in on the Grafton Park River area. You got, this is Edinburgh, you got some very heavy rain making its way through. Looks almost like a foggy day, a gray day. Heavy rain on the north side of the hill there. This is looking across North Dakota 32. And all I'm seeing is more road surface here. I'm seeing less of the sky, which, you know, I could complain about because I'm a meteorologist. I like looking at the sky, but not necessarily always is the case for what we like to see going on with regards to your road conditions. So right now, severe thunderstorm warnings continue for Walsh County for the Park River area on at this particular time. We have garden variety thunder showers and showers heading right into Grand Forks, heading along the Highway 200 corridor through the Steele County area right now for Findlay. And then as we look into Valley City, you got the main event coming into your doorstep. Sanborn, Point South, Ypsilanti, though, you're getting the worst of it. So let's go right back to your radar here. And then for you national viewers, thank you for watching Hutch's Weather. We're going to cover a couple of storms elsewhere. Kathy, thank you so much. I took spotter training, says Allison, a few weeks ago in Grand Forks. Very informative. And it's a great thing to do because you might have a fear of severe weather. I meet a lot of people who do. But the more you know about what you see and what it means, educates you on how to be calm and respond. That's really important, right? All right. So as we take a look at the storms now in the Valley City area, I want to go over this one more time. Ypsilanti, you got this pink. We just saw the clouds. They're very dark. They're very low, and they're right over you. And there's a bite taken out of the storm right by Montpelier. That would indicate to Hutch a hook echo. Sometimes hook echoes are associated with spin in a storm. Is this one? Look in Montpelier area. Do we see reds and greens next to each other? Little bit. It's right here. It's not here. This red and this green show rolling, not necessarily spinning. So there's a differentiation that Hutch sees, and in Montpelier and just points off to the east and south, there's some spin and that there cloud. Okay. This is taken from the radar in, let me just double check that and turn it on. I think it's Mayville. So if we go back in, I beg your pardon. This is tight rotation and it's right near Montpelier. This is motion toward the radar in Mayville. This is motion away, and it's right here. So there is some spin in that storm. Let's go. Wentworth, South Dakota, Brenda says. Wentworth, South Dakota, what's going on there? I'll see what I can do for you, Brenda, real quick here. I want to analyze this storm here, though, because this one's rotating, and this is maybe increasingly strong. Let me go ahead and take a loop of it. Okay, I'm just going to analyze it with you watching me. Yeah, it's just forming. So in this area, we've got, this is just forming south of Ypsilanti, south of Montpelier. It's a pretty good little rotation showing up there in that storm. It's a dangerous storm if it's heading towards you. Seek shelter in that interior room. I would get into a sturdy structure. If you have time, get out of a structure like a mobile home, manufactured home. If you're in the camper for the weekend and the like, please get out of things like that. Okay, Valley City, you got some storms moving into your ballpark right now. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for you in Valley City. What's blowing in? Look at this. All of this activity is sliding to your south. I can't see that orange color, Hutch. Let's go with something a little bit more differenter. Let's go with this. Let's go with white. You can't go wrong with that one. All right. So see how we have just the yellows? There's like this line. These storms are just barely taking a little bit of a southerly tilt. It's good news for Valley City. It's less than good news for Catherine, Cuba, and places like Litchfield. The heaviest batch of rain and hail is heading right into the Litchfield area. It's heading right over Ypsilanti right now and Montpelier. And there's rotation with this storm where the bite's taken out right here. So Hutch will watch that very closely. Now I'm going to handle a couple of things. I'm looking at reports from the Weather Service locally real quick. Hail size. Okay. There's a correction by the Weather Service for some content that they had there. And let's see what we got. Okay, we got some spotter hail. There's some out in Dickinson. Some pictures of hail in Goodrich on the North Dakota side. And some rainfall amounts. Okay, so here we go. Storm moving into southeast North Dakota. Now, I beg your pardon. Keep watching. We're going to come back with the forecast in a minute. But right now, I'm going to go to a more national view on the radar. We're going to check this out. These storms in North Dakota are continuing to drive to the south and east. They are going to be making their way to Fargo, but not till much later. The rain is moving into Grand Forks, but the risk is severe weather there. While you have a severe thunderstorm watch in Grand Forks, the strongest of the storms have split, and there's some north of you and some south of you. Let's hope that trend continues, right? Your risk of severe weather in places like Dickinson, Bismarck, and McLean County here out towards the Hayes and Beulah area, I think has substantially dropped. Let's go to the Bismarck radar. We do have a couple of storms out to the west here. Let's go to this Williston radar here. A couple of storms firing out there. The chances aren't zero in Williston and in northwest North Dakota in the Lake Sakakawea area, but a lot lower than they were earlier with regards to the storm. We have four active tornado warnings in South Dakota. We're going to go from north to south. So if you have questions, let me know. If you're watching from Texas, let me know. If you have a question, I'll be happy to answer it. It's what makes Hutch's weather a little different. As a meteorologist of 26 years, I am spending a lot of time teaching students in the classroom, teaching college-level meteorology. It's a good idea to ask those questions because you can learn more. Kim, good to have you on from Trail. Nice to talk to you. Jonathan from Fergus Falls. All right, here we go. South Dakota, north of Aberdeen. This is in our area. This is heading toward the Sand Lake National Refuge, and this is a tornado warning for this storm here near Frederick. This is baseball-sized hail. Baseballs, okay? right here. Look at the hook. You can see this classic hook shape right here. That's where your tornado is most likely to be. There could be another one right up in this notch here that's older and decaying. This storm is moving off to the east-northeast, and it's moving at 12 miles per hour is all. It's a creepy crawler, and it definitely has what we would call a textbook hook to it. Okay, let's watch the loop of this one. If it's a slow mover, we should be able to see it advance through. Do you see this little green area here? That's an outflow boundary. So you got this outflow from the thunderstorm, that outflow running into the inflow, causing the inflow to rise and rock into that storm faster, and it's twisting right there. I would be very surprised if we're not seeing a velocity couplet right where the hand is on the radar. So what's a velocity couplet? You've heard me talking about the greens next to the reds. And let's look at the Aberdeen radar. I think this is it. So, yep. So this one is showing that, well, let me see. Let's go ahead and loop it. Yeah, we got a huge outflow out of this storm right here, and it looks like there might be some evidence of the couplet still right here, but it's on the far southern side of where that tornado warning is. So anyone in and around this, including Westport, Columbia, Ordway, that storm is generally bringing its rotation to the southern side or the southern flank of the storm, and this is an outflow from the storm, likely called a rear flank downdraft, and it's wrapping around and it's causing a line of clouds right here that we're seeing on the radar. So that's what's going on in northern South Dakota, Brown County, north of Aberdeen. Active tornado warnings in and around the Willow Lake area. You can see the greens next to the reds, still rotation showing up right here. It's moving towards Willow Lake. If you are in Willow Lake, seek shelter immediately. Let's see, this is a radar indicated with golf ball size hail heading your way towards Willow Lake. Get out of campers. Get to a sturdy structure at your earliest convenience. You have a little bit of time in Willow Lake with the movement of this storm being generally only 10 miles per hour. Let's put it on the timer here and see how long it'll take to get to Willow Lake. I'll put it at 14 miles per hour here so we can estimate it for you. Okay. That one will be near Willow Lake in about 20 minutes. Maybe less. So again, you have time in Willow Lake to seek shelter in a sturdy structure. That is a dangerous storm in a recreational area. We also have a tornado warning for this little bit of shear showing up down here on the south side of the storm. This one may have been observed. Let's see. This is a radar indicated tornado, some small hail, and you can actually see on the radar screen here this bright red next to the greens, and it's right here, traveling right along the county line. So they extended that tornado warning down into the county just to the south here as we're looking, and that's in Kingsbury County, not far from the Bryant area. So that's what's going on in South Dakota. Active tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings as we go toward the I-29 corridor. You're looking at areas outside of Granite Falls and Providence. So these storms moving east, this is north of Marshall. That's a severe thunderstorm warning for that area. Again, we're seeing some greens and reds next to each other. There is spin in these storms, and in these areas we could see a couple of tornadoes forming tonight. Back to the radar in South Dakota we go, but let's go down south to Nebraska, shall we? Nebraska, we have active severe thunderstorms for North Platte. A long line of severe thunderstorms. Considerable damage is possible. Look at the wind speed, 70 mile per hour winds and 1.25 inch hail. So this is a very windy line of storms. I would not be surprised if we're seeing this backwards C shape to it as we look in on it here on the radar display. We do. See the bright colors that we're seeing here? These are some very, very stout wind speeds blowing away from the radar, and that's heading right in the general direction of Hayes Center. How fast are those wind speeds? Now, this is going to be aloft above the ground, but this is measuring 69. I saw a 69 in there. Okay, so some of these pixels here that are bright, yeah, 63, 64 mile per hour gusts above the ground. That can mix down to the ground with hail and wind dropping out of the storm. So that's a dangerous storm, and gusty straight line winds are going to be the main threat. This one is basically in rural portions of central and southern Nebraska, but look what's heading towards North Platte. This is some strong thunderstorm activity. Here too, we got some stout winds. The measure marker you see up here, 45 to 50 mile per hour winds in this system off the ground. It's blowing towards North Platte and heading in your general direction. So again, batten down the hatches. tie down the lawn furniture and the trampolines, and you have time in North Platte to respond and seek shelter in that interior room, staying away from windows. Now, the severe weather does continue down to the south. Dodge City, Kansas does have a warning not far from Johnson here in Ulysses. We'll check that out on the latest radar scan from you. This one's for 3/4 inch hail and gusty winds to 60 miles per hour. Not a lot of pink in it. It is moving slowly, 15 to 20 miles per hour to the east-northeast. It's heading towards Ulysses, but we'll let you know if that warning continues. All right, here's the tornado watch area in red. This is from Guyman and points south through Amarillo. There's a line of severe thunderstorms that has developed here. This is in the tornado watch area. This is a baseball-sized hail for this northernmost storm. Destructive threat and 70-mile-per-hour wind. Yeah, that thing's ridiculous. Okay, this thing is heading towards and south of Stinnett, working its way off to the east. It's just now crossing into areas north of Borger and Sanford. And if you look at the motion of this storm, it's moving off to the east. There is this inflow on the south side here, and from time to time we get this little, see this little tail coming out of the back of it? That's from the outflow of it as it's moved across. Let's see if there is a tornado possible with this and where the rotation would be. We do see some shear on the far south side of this storm with the reds and the greens fairly close together. Not too organized. It's over a broad area, more likely some outflow from that storm, but it's in a tornado-enriched environment here where there is a tornado watch. So if you're in this part of Texas, be sure that you're seeking shelter in that interior room, staying away from the windows. Now let's go down a little farther south and let's get down to this warning here. This is 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarters, and this is way down to the south here. Let me put the radar up. We'll switch this over to reflectivity. Oh, it's almost out of this warned area. So the storm has collapsed and extended itself outside of the warned area. Chances are the warning on this one is about ready to expire. There is a new warning down to the south here, probably, for the northern fringes of this puppy that is skirting right along the county line. So a tough one here for the National Weather Service, but let's read what they got going on here. This is basically for a storm moving east at 15 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarters are possible from this cell as it works its way along the county line up north. So that's pretty rural out there north of Tulia and continuing itself off to the east. How about Plainview? You have a stout thunderstorm working its way towards you, but at this time, not severe. It did pulse up with a little bit of pink just on the west side of town there on 70, but at this time, that thing is not severe. No warning. Severe thunderstorms do continue. Look at all of the flash flooding going on in the metro area, Dallas, all the way up to everybody in Fargo's favorite place. You know what I'm talking about. Frisco. That's right. There's a lot of heavy rain that has come through with these storms. Severe. They're still severe down on the east side of town here in the metro area, heading out towards Wills Point. These storms on the line here, you can almost see this backwards C shape. So it's becoming linear, and gusty straight line winds will likely be the main threat. The yellow means these areas in Texas near the Fort Worth and Dallas area, Sulphur Springs, seeing this windy line of thunderstorms blast through right now. These storm warnings here, if we take a look, are for $half size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and this particular one is for Rains County, Van Zandt County, and Hunt County, and it's in effect until 7:30 this evening. That's a look across the nation. Go down on the south side of this. We got a couple of stout storms, nothing severe. Down near Nacogdoches is also down near Lufkin. And let's check out the border down here. Fort Stockton, we got an active tornado warning near Sanderson down here. I got to get to a different radar. Radar indicated, and we got lime-size hail out there from this particular cell. You see the bite taken out of the storm right here? If you get spin in a thunderstorm, sometimes the rotation is like a centrifugal force, and the centrifugal force kind of throws the raindrops and hailstones out of the area. That storm working its way to the southeast, heading towards Sanderson right now. Taking a look at the velocity and the spin in this storm, very bright, very strong, and right here on the south side of this warned area, and it's heading in the general direction of Sanderson. Giving you a little bit of a time warning on that. Let me see how fast the course of the storm is moving, only 12 miles per hour. Okay, so as we measure the core of the rotating part of the storm, moving southeast at 12 miles per hour. Let's see if I can pop that up here. It's not letting me. I'm going to have to zoom out just a little bit. My apologies. Let's get this one more time. Rotating part of the storm here. moving in the general direction of Sanderson. I'm going to put 15 miles per hour because I like to give you a little more time to prepare. Still about 40 minutes out from Sanderson, as you can see on your screen. This is Central Daylight Time, almost 7 o'clock. You had 40 minutes, but about 35 after 7. That's when we'll have that best chance at seeing that rotating thunderstorm working its way in the general direction of Sanderson. So that's your north to south look at storms that are working their way through the Central Plains. We continue to see very stout storms working their way through the nation's midsection. Let's take you back to the northern plains right now. A new warning to let you know about. This does include, well, we continue to see warnings in and around Jamestown, Valley City. And I'm seeing another one on top of one. So we got one from Spiritwood and Ypsilanti down south into Catherine. You got another whole one for Barnes County here. I think they're all getting kind of mixed up here a little bit. So I want to sort this out for you. And I just want to just show you the radar and tell you what I'm seeing, because this one says tornado possible, ping pong ball sized hail, and 70 mile per hour winds and a considerable threat. If you are in southern Barnes County, south of Interstate 94, and that is the area of that particular threat. Let's get to it. The tornado possible. Do you see the greens and the reds? Look how bright that red is, that orange. Okay, that's very strong flow away from the Mayville radar. Here's some flow toward the Mayville radar. So there is rotation right here in this area, not far from Montpelier and Ypsilanti, where we were talking about earlier. Let me get to my my team here. You are my team. Have you seen any reports of anything? Let me see if anybody shared picture. Let me get that right back to you. Carla, good to have you on board. How fast is it moving now? It's Boeing. Indeed it is. We're still looking at 20 mile per hour to 30 mile per hour winds, or not winds, but speed with the movement of the main system. Heard thunder for the first time in Ellendale. Let's see. I'm also watching live stream from Storm Chaser Brandon on YouTube of Bancroft system. Nothing on the ground yet. Thank you. Thank you for the report. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of perusing for some reports from everybody, and they do mean a lot, so thank you. Somebody's asking about Sioux Falls, Bemidji. Judging by the Weather Channel radar, it looks like around 9:05, Fargo Moorhead. Wayne, that's not going to be far from what we've been saying here, so thank you for your analysis. Looks spot on to me. We'll take another look. I did say there's a caveat if storms form south of us, because it looked like they could. Thunder in Wadena. So, okay, let's see. This storm here is the strongest. There is a risk of a tornado. 70 mile per hour winds are going to be possible with this storm, maybe more. Let's look at this from the Aberdeen radar too. That's not too far away. We have an active tornado warning to the south here too. So let's take a look at. Okay, so what I'm doing and why I'm doing this is to see if multiple radars concur on the location of the spin, and they do, and that there's even still spin there. And they do. So this is basically off to the north of Marion. It's up towards areas not far from Montpelier and Ypsilanti. Let's look at the Bismarck radar. That's going to be really a stretch, but we'll go ahead and take a look. Similarly, we have the greens next to the red on this side here. And this is not so much the same type of shear here, but it's definitely illustrative of the spin that's taking place in this storm. So let's go back to the Mayville radar. I do believe that might be the best one to take a look at the analysis of this storm. There's your Wadena, thunder and lightning near Parker's Prairie. So these storms out here, non-severe, as we check in on you folks out in Lakes Country. Parker's Prairie and Point South, Miltona seeing a pretty good strong thunderstorm with heavy rain, maybe some small soft hail. Nothing severe on that side of the river at this point. Backwards sea, indicative of a very strong winded system. The winds are not going to be blowing into the radar beam, so I'm not going to get a good estimate of wind speeds from my Doppler radar here. I might, but I'm not going to be too optimistic about that. Let's go ahead and look at the velocities from this storm, and let's measure these bright reds. What is it seeing? Here's the brightest. So 45, 50 mile per hour gusts aloft being measured by the Doppler radar here as it crosses down towards Marion. There is some spin in this storm, folks. So if you see anything, let us know here on Hutch's Weather. Hi, Chelsea. And Stacy, good to have you on. What's going to happen for Ludden and Oaks? Okay, you guys are down here and you got a storm to your north and they're moving in your general direction. You got a storm to your south. It's 75 degrees in Oaks right now. Right there. There you are, 75 degrees. You got storms to the north of you that are severe. They are heading in this general direction. They hopefully will miss you to the north. These puppies down to the south are also moving away from you. I can't rule out that a thunderstorm or thunder shower may form in your area and move in your general direction, and the storms near you are non-severe. Becky, how about Fergus Falls? You have non-severe showers and storms for you now. Later tonight, after 10, these storms are not expected to remain severe, but we'll watch them because I've seen stranger things happen. I'll look up north, the Devil's Lake Basin. The area of Walsh County that was under the severe thunderstorm warning, that warning has been expired. The storm has weakened. It is over Park River, it is over Grafton, and it's producing some heavy rain. Hutch, how heavy is the rain? I got an answer for you real quick. Let's take a quick peek at the rainfall amounts in the last hour. So we're going to look at the 1 hour precip estimates by Doppler radar. And moving into Park River is about an inch of rain, estimated by Doppler radar. A couple of those heavier cells making just a little over, some a little under. But it looks like a good solid inch of rain. That'll be moving in the general direction of you and Grafton. I know, some of you do not want it. Is that bad one coming to Lisbon? It looks like let's go back down there and take a peek. Okay, so the bad one's up here. The thing that we never really know is if this develops a little line down to the south. If so, it definitely is. This whole thing is slowly moving southeast. So in answer to your question, it's moving very, very slow in that direction. And yes, it's moving towards Lisbon, and it's moving towards Fort Ransom, and it's moving towards Marion and Dickey right now. So the warning is for Litchfield, Ypsilanti, Montpelier, Catherine, and it's extending into right now, developing over Adrian and Dickey. This is a strong storm. You're not in a warning right now, but Hutch is telling you that storm is going to be capable of some up to 1 inch diameter hail and gusty straight line winds. And I want you to look at something. You got these little cells here. Watch them. They're moving this way. And then you got these cells moving this way. That just shows you the shear that's in the environment around here. There's changing wind directions in our area. So there is some spin here. It's not absolutely prophetic that it's going to produce a tornado, but there's some spin in the environment. This cell here has some significant hail potential. It's showing, I'll show you the radar estimates of the hail. These can be off. There's a 100% chance of a severe storm hail, 1 inch or greater, 100% chance of severe hail. Not for everybody, but in the storm. 2 inch diameter hail estimate from it. Okay, so it is a very strong storm. Luckily right now, that puppy is over rural portions of Stutsman County and drifting very, very slowly through rural Stutsman County. A new development near Adrian, though, that particular cell I don't have a measurement on, but I'm going to tell you that looks like it's pretty strong. Let me take a look at something here. Reflectivity, do we got any bings on down the line? Nope, I don't see that. Okay. All right, so that storm is developing. Let's go up one scan in height. Let's go up to tilt 2 and see if the pinks are making it up to that level. Yep. So what that means is the large hail is getting lofted higher in the sky. The higher it's lofted in the sky, the better chance it has of making it down to the ground. Paula, Stacy, thank you all for your stars. Please share with others that you know tonight that Hutch is on covering the weather. Not everybody knows it. Not everybody knows or uses YouTube or Facebook, but you can pass along the word, and I sure appreciate you doing that. Fargo. Do you see we have rain? Look at these long white lines. This means that this rain shower here in northern parts of Cass County near Page and Hope and Sibley and Colgate, moving in our general direction, looks like it's picking up some speed right now. So if I loop it, let me see if it looks like it's... No, it's not moving too fast. It is stretching down towards Amenia right now in Arthur, Erie, but it's not moving fast. How far away is it from Fargo and West Fargo? So in West Fargo, oops, I'm sorry. Got to get the right tool out. The rain showers are only about 31 miles away. I'd be surprised they're not even moving 31 miles per hour right now. Maybe 20. So still over an hour out. That puts us at 8 o'clock at best 9. This, tornado warning. Okay, here we go. Would somebody please pass along that we have a tornado warning, and Hutch is going to be covering it. I'm going to do it now on my channel right here. So bear with me while I put this out. Active tornado warning for the storm I just showed you was spinning down to the south. So we're going to get on that storm right now. Here it is. Active tornado warning, Catherine, Litchfield. It's not for Marion, but I'm telling you, it's moving into the northern part of your county there in the Lemoore County area. Radar indicated tornado, ping pong ball size hail. 40 minutes is when the warning expires. I'm going to cover it intently here, but let me go ahead and post on my page. Covering active tornado warning. Now. Okay. Thanks for your patience. I just want to get the word out to as many folks as possible that Hutch is covering the storm and covering the weather. So let me go here, turn that off, and let me get the link. Okay, now I can share this link with more people. So I appreciate your patience with that while I post this on my Facebook channel. There we go. Now it has been posted. You know, it's as important as anything to just get the word out there, right? To our neighbors that we have tornado warnings. Some people are out and about doing their daily things. They're celebrating graduates. And I just want to make sure people know what's coming their way. So I'm going to pop this up on another channel, another post as well. Here we go. All right. Here's your coverage. Let's talk about this. I'm going to turn off the thunderstorm watch area. It's in the way. And then we're going to focus on this active tornado warning that has just been issued. It's kind of a weird shaped box because we're dealing with a couple different areas here, a couple different National Weather Service offices. Dickey and Lemoore County here, you're in the Bismarck area. You have a severe thunderstorm warning. There is a tornado warning here in the Litchfield area from the Grand Forks office, I believe. Let me see who issued this. It might be Duluth. For some reason, nope, this is from Grand Forks. Duluth issued something earlier, which I thought was kind of funny. I don't know if that was a typo or not. Let's go right to a look at the text. The radar says, the National Weather Service says, it's moving southeast at 20 miles per hour, ping pong ball size hail. It's a radar indicated tornado. It's not on the ground, nor do we have confirmation of it at this particular time. But what we are going to do is take a look at the velocity, and I'll show you exactly where the spin is with this particular storm. Can you see it? Holy cow buckets. This is just outside of Marion, and it is quite intense. The bright orange colors that you see there, yellows, next to the bright greens, is very strong spin. That's shear. And now we can see if there is any evidence near Marion. If you're in Marion, I think you should be seeking shelter right now. There's not a tornado warning for you. It's heading right towards you, though. This storm is tornado warned. It does look like it's really spinning tightly. And this storm is dangerous. And if you are in a manufactured home, mobile home, please get out of structures like that, a camper, an RV, and get into a sturdy structure right now and get to the lowest floor that you can get into. So it's basically in rural portions of southern Barnes County, southwesternmost Barnes County. You see the bright colors right next to each other, right where Hutch's hand is. That is a very strong couplet. I am going to see if I have evidence on the radar here of debris, because that is a very strong couplet showing up there on the radar. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some other things here. Pardon me while I do this. I'm looking to see if I see evidence of debris. I see evidence of large hail, that's for sure. And then let's go here and look at differential. And okay, yeah, we do have a very sizable hail core showing up not far from you in the Adrian area here, where all this gray is. I'm looking at differential reflectivity, so I'd expect to see high differences in the reflectivity of the storm that's moving in the general direction of Marion. And you see this little area of red here. I can't guarantee you that's what we're seeing, but that leading edge right there is likely, at least if nothing else, some dirt and dust or something getting kicked up by the storm. It shows up as looking different than the raindrops in and around it, looking different. This is some big time hail right here, potentially moving in towards the Adrian area. I would not be surprised if it's greater than an inch in diameter for sure. So let's go back to the reflectivity. Yes, we've got the pinks on there. I don't see the typical hook echo with this storm, but it certainly is a big storm, and it certainly is going to be capable of rotation. It's a Doppler radar indicated tornado. It's moving right towards Marion right now. Litchville, you're in the warning. Catherine, you're in the warning for this tornado as well. So an active tornado warning continues. I'm going to take a look at all of the available possible things that I have to look at here. One thing is going to be the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Grand Forks, seeing what they have. Tornado warning, Barnes County, intensifying, radar indicated. If there's a tornado there, somebody is out there chasing it and doesn't see it, but it's certainly got some spin to it. So again, I would heed the warning on this one. Even outside the area, even in Marion, I would be heeding the warning, because that is some tight rotation that's showing up with this particular cell. Let's see if that rotation is evident on the Aberdeen radar here. It's starting to get a little bit closer to Aberdeen than it is to Mayville. So, okay, we still have the Marion storm. It's still very bright red. It still shows the risk for some very sizable hail in Marion. Yep, you've got bright reds immediately next to bright greens right there near Marion right now. So Litchville, I'm not saying you're not in the area of the tornado. You are in the tornado warning, but even down south into your neighbors down to the south, we're seeing that in the Lemoore County area, that rotation is making its way down in your general direction. I'm going to hop over and look at some content over here from the DOT page right quick, just to see if we could see anything from the DOT cameras out in that area. So Litchville, Montpelier. Let's go to Montpelier. That's going to be on the north side. It is just raining buckets out there, so we won't see anything with that heavy of rain there. We need to get south. Let's go here. This is Ellendale and Ashley. Let's see. This will be a stretch too, because it's a little ways away in the distance. But nope, not able to see anything from that view. Ah, boy, let's see. I don't think we'll see. Oh, here, let's go to Verona. I think the Verona one is a little difficult to see stuff at there. Very pointed toward the road there. Yeah, okay. So I'm not able to get any confirmation from anything on the DOT cameras out here. Let's look at Foreman and see what your skies are looking like. Dark off to the opposite direction there. Okay, so I'm not able to confirm anything on the DOT camera. I do appreciate your replies with regards to what it is that you're seeing. Phones going off for a tornado warning in Fort Ransom and Lisbon. Kylie, we're covering it right now. Indeed, that's a tornado warning is for the northwestern quadrant of your county. It's not in Lisbon yet, but Fort Ransom it is. If you are at Fort Ransom, there's a storm near Marion right now that's heading in your direction. Okay, so I'm going to show the radar, and I'm going to get right on that right now, and we're going to time this out, because if you happen to be out at Fort Ransom camping for the weekend, or still there, or maybe you just got there, there is a tightly rotating thunderstorm right over Marion heading in your general direction. Let me see if I can get the general speed of motion of this. Moving southeast at about 25 miles per hour to 30 miles per hour. So here we go. Here is the rotation. I'm going to start from here, move over towards the general direction of movement of this is toward Fort Ransom. I'm going to go 30 for the speed of movement, giving us a little faster movement. Fort Ransom, 40 minutes. So it's still 40 minutes away from you. Here's the area of rotation. It's behind all the clutter here. I'll try to erase it. It's moving southeast at about 30 miles per hour. And it will be over rural portions near Marion right now. And in Marion, that storm is rotating over you. There's not a tornado warning, but the rotation is right over your area. Litchville, it's just off to the south and west of you in Litchville. And it's heading in the general direction of northern and eastern parts of our friends up there in Lemoore County. Okay, and now it's heading towards the Fort Ransom area and Lisbon as well. So that is a look at that particular warned storm. What we have going on in our area up to the north, Grafton, you have a thunderstorm statement from the National Weather Service, a windy and heavy rain producing line of storms moving in on the Grafton area right now. That storm's moving off to the east. It looks like it's moving still at about 20, what does it say here? 20 miles per hour. Moving east at 55, huh? I don't know about that. Let's take a look at the last hour of data. Sometimes the radar does overshoot how fast it's moving. I don't think it's moving at 55. 14. Okay, so that's almost an hour. Yeah, it's only moving about 25 miles per hour. It's not moving quite that fast. There might be some gusty winds. It's in Grafton. It's heading towards Stephen. It's heading towards Warren and Carlstead. Just some gusty winds. Crystal, heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe some hail about half-inch in diameter. Thanks for all your stars. If there is a tornado, it's most likely rain wrap, seek shelter, says Jen. That's a possibility for sure. A couple of things to keep in mind is we don't want you running out on the patio looking at this puppy. There is no warning for a tornado in the Dickey area. There's no warning for a tornado in Marion, but that is where the rotation is showing up. Some very gusty straight line winds will be associated with this storm, and it's moving towards the Highway 1 corridor right now. What about Fargo? Amanda says these storms are still a ways away from Fargo. And I know people are just checking in as I continue the live broadcast. The storm's ETA in Fargo is after 8 p.m., likely closer to 9 p.m. We might get some of these showers skirting the area. They're very weak showers. They're not huge showers. The big showers and the main event is here. This is sliding just to the south. We'll be on the northern fringe of this main event type stuff here. But I did mention we have a little bit of evidence of some development here. If this fills in, these will be moving this way. Weird, right? We're on the other side of the warm front here. Look at the temperature in Fargo. Are you kidding me? 72 here, 70 Wahpeton, okay? You get down into the low 60s as you go out towards Jamestown. So we have this flow this way, but down here, well, you know what? We could get some of this stuff here developing and back building in toward this line, but it's not guaranteed. So if we get a couple of storms developing down here, they're going to move towards Fargo and get here a little earlier. So that's the only what if that I can see. Rippling here in Valley City as of 10 minutes ago. Thanks, Renan. I appreciate the report there. Let's see what we got going on in Valley City. Sanborn, Valley City. Yeah, there is some there's some rain and heavy rain moving towards you. There is no severe thunderstorm warning for Valley City, so keep that in mind. There is a severe thunderstorm warning just south where you see the orange box, and the tornado warning takes over right here for Litchfield. But I'm telling you, it does look like it's rotating out a little bit closer to the Marion area, moving out to the east. Let's look at the latest. You see this? That's a rotation couplet. That's a strong rotation couplet. And indeed, it certainly may be rain wrapped. Okay. The reason it's right over Marion right now. Marion, I'm concerned about your area. You should be in your storm shelter now. There's a tornado warning close to you. The rotation is right over the top of you. And it's just the safest thing that you can do. Close lightning in Valley City just now. Thank you very much, Peggy. I appreciate your report. Staying indoors away from windows is a good idea during lightning because sometimes trees can get hit and that causes branches to fall into your windows and you don't want to be anywhere near that. So we have very, very strong rotation and organized rotation right here. It's not as strong as it was a couple of scans ago. It's broadening out a little bit, but it is still there and it's down here in the Lemoore County area. Is it rain wrapped? Just put your finger. I'm going to put my hand right here where Marion is. I'm going to go here. I'm going to see if I can do this. What is it? All right. If you look at the Marion area here, now we've got 3-inch diameter hail estimated by the radar. Do you see that? Do you know how 3-inch diameter hail? The amount of wind blowing up to support 3-inch diameter hail potential is going to be significant, okay? Two other things to keep in mind. Do you see this little shape right here? Okay, and I know that's the wind field, but it is still showing us a changing in wind direction with height right through this area. Let's take a look at the reflectivity on this storm. You can put your finger on the Marion area here and look at where the rain is. So the rotation is right over Marion, but we also have hail wrapping around it. So is it rain wrapped? Is it hail wrapped? It sure could be. Let's watch the loop. Let's see what it does. Okay, we may have an area here where we've got a rain wrapped tornado, a hail wrapped tornado, and if it is here, it's going to be near the Marion area. It may still be near Litchfield. You're in the tornado warning too. You should be seeking shelter in your interior room, staying away from those windows and get to the lowest floor possible. And you have some potentially huge hail coming your way. Now, if we get huge hail, oftentimes I start to see what's called a scatter spike, and there is some evidence of a little bit of that going on right here with this elongation of it. So the radar's picking up some huge hail. Let's look at another product. Let's look at this. Where's the huge hail? Where the gray is. See this? It's over Marion. It's over west of Litchfield. It's coming through town. What do you got going on, Marion? What do you got going on, Litchfield? Talk to us here and let me know what's coming to McIntosh. Thanks so much, Katie. I appreciate it. We definitely have a chance for some showers tonight in McIntosh, but as far as the severe risk goes, we'll just have to wait and see. This is by far the largest hail estimates that I've seen all night and signals that I've seen all night from this particular storm. So likely that means the updraft strength is extremely strong. There might be some divergence at the top of the storm that's aiding in developing all of this. Let's take a look at this to see where the latest scan has the hail. You see the blues. It's right over Marion, and we got this long spike going on here. Okay, so that down that beam is where the hail is, right where the 3 is. Let's go ahead and take a look at the okay, where you see the gray. All of this gray area here is likely where we have some sizable hail. Dickey, there's hail for you in Dickey. Marion, there's likely hail over your area. Whether it's making it down to the ground, that's where it is. Thank you very much, Bethany. I appreciate your kind words. Indeed, I do. How about Grand Forks? Looks like it's all kind of going around us. Erica, that's probably the case. You're going to get some rain showers. There's a heavy cell north of you in Walsh County, Minnesota, and there's some heavier cells down to the south of you heading through the Valley City area now, and we have an active tornado warning down here. Now let's take a look at the, this is a fun one. Okay, so essentially we've got a very, very strong thunderstorm, very large hail going through the Marion and Litchfield area right now. We don't have a lot of reports coming. I'm going to check in again with the National Weather Service office. Flooding going on in and around Cleveland, North Dakota, right on I-94. I've got evidence of that showing up. People are not able to see inside this storm that are out there viewing for it. There are storm spotters out there. They're not able to see inside this storm right here to see if it's producing a tornado. In other words, there's so much rain and hail around it. See this little notch right here? This could be outflow from the hail and the rain. That's like a rear flank downdraft and outflow from the thunderstorm. This would be the area of concern now. It might be shifting up here. Okay. This will be very gusty wind and huge hail right there with regards to that storm. So what I'm seeing from the National Weather Service office from Bismarck, Ypsilanti, 2.38 inches of rain. Marion just got a 67 mile per hour wind gust. That happened just minutes ago. 67 mile per hour. We just talked about Marion. So 70 mile per hour winds blowing here where we got this backwards C shape. Up to 70 mile per hour winds, maybe more in isolated places. Remember, we got a physical measurement from the North Dakota Agricultural Network right here in Marion. But that's one instrument in one place at one time. This is a solid line of gusty winds. We may not have measured the strongest wind gusts out of it. here where this apex of this bow is right here, that would be a ideal spot to see some of the strongest winds purging out. And that is heading in the general direction of Fort Ransom. The rotating part of the storm, huge hail heading into the Litchfield area, it appears right now. So where we see these pinks here, that's huge hail. And right here, we could have ourselves a rotating part of the storm once again. So let's take a look at that. Okay, let's look at the shear and the spin in the storm. This is a look at the velocity only. So we've got very, very strong outbound winds next to some fairly strong inbound winds. So there's still a lot of shear and spin not far from Litchfield and Marion. Okay, let's subtract out the storm motion, which is across the beam, which ain't going to subtract nothing out. So yeah, we're looking at some stout thunderstorm activity. Okay. Another thunderstorm warning has been issued for the Napoleon area here. Let's take a look at this. Quarter-size hail. This is from the National Weather Service in Bismarck. It's in effect until 8 o'clock. Storm moving east at 20 miles per hour. This storm system is capable of 60 mile per hour winds and quarters as it works its way through quarter-sized hail, I should add. Let's get to the regular display of radar, and you can see there's two cells, one near Streeter, just to your south, and this one here just straight south of Gackle. Those two cells, each of them will be capable of up to around 1-inch diameter hail, 60 mile per hour winds making their way out of the storm. So these storms are heading their way in the general direction of Lisbon. Here's Fargo. This movement is south and east. Lisbon, Gwinner, Richland County will be in the path of this particular thunderstorm cell. Well, that's where that one's heading. The garden variety showers making their way through Valley City with some rain, some lightning, and some gusty winds. Heading into Castleton now with some light rain shower activity. Rain is more likely here in Fargo than this really, really nasty stuff the way it looks right now. But we do have temperatures in the 70s, and we do have some unworked over air, if you will. So we'll have to see how things transpire and if more thunderstorms develop with this. Right now, though, it's a good sign that these are steering to the south of the FM area. The active tornado warning does continue. Let's take a look and see. I have a couple of different places where people sometimes send me images, so I'm going to check those right quick and make sure. And again, I'll tease you that I have some fun things coming up. Hey, hail in Jamestown, Courtney, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to put out an open blanket request for all of you that if you upload a picture and share it with me through messaging, make sure you let me know if I have permission to use it on my channels. If I do, I'll use it, but I can't use it unless I have that. Oh my gosh. An Ypsilanti picture from Sarah. Sarah, thank you. That is amazing. I would love to have your permission to share that view of a supercell thunderstorm rocking its way from the Jamestown area, looking at it from Ypsilanti. This is the same storm you're looking at here. And yeah, Sarah got a beautiful view of that. Amy, hail that was greater than quarters in Jamestown with the first line of storms. That's great. I should pass that along to the Weather Service office. I don't have a time for that. It says 6:36 when you sent it. So I'll send that to the National Weather Service, and I sure appreciate it very much. So give me a minute to type this up. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. I have to type and I can't talk and type at the same time. It's hard enough to walk and chew gum at the same time, if you believe me. Now, let's see. What else do we got going on here? What has people sent me here? Looks like. Yep, Jeremy, looking good. And, oh my goodness, here is a downpour. Jody, thank you for sharing all of your videos. Looking to see where this was taken at. Jamestown, flooding rains. All right, so we're going to take a look. Tornado warning. Looks like we got a new tornado warning, so I'm just looking to see where it is. Aberdeen. Okay, so we do still have a tornado warning in South Dakota till 7:45. Okay, that's an older one. Okay, All right, so I think we're all caught up with tornado warnings. South of Hecla, a storm moving out towards the Claremont area. That storm had a tornado warned part of it, but it has exited the warned area. And let's get to the radar that's a little bit closer. Let's see if I can pull up the radar from Aberdeen here. It's right next to it. You can see that this storm has mainly exited the wildlife refuge here. It's heading in towards Claremont. It's still showing some very, very strong hail signatures. Let's check the velocity signatures from the radar. That's seeing some bright red pixels next to some green ones here. Not very clear or organized tight spin with that particular storm. This warning expires soon. It's a radar indicated tornado, not necessarily one that was visualized and reported by or observed by chasers or observers. So that's what we have going on there. The tornado warning does continue here for the Fort Ransom area. As far as the velocity goes and the spin goes in the storm, it's now moving into this area. Okay, the big white line here, we got greens and reds next to each other, but this is this broad shear that's taking place ahead of the storm. This area right here, crossing over Highway 1, not far from Fort Ransom, is where the tighter rotation is. And I will go ahead and estimate the movement of that. Generally moving to the south and east. It's generally not moving very fast, but I will put it at about 18, calculate that. Fort Ransom, it's still upwards of 20 to 30 minutes away from you and areas south of you. So we'll keep you updated with regards to that right here on Hutch's weather. I'm going to stick with you until this active tornado warning is all but said and done. I got a kitty cat here wanting to help with the weather, so it's always kind of a perfect moment to share in the coverage, I guess you will. So here is a look then at the active warnings in the area. We got a lot of flooding going on, a lot of flooding reported. Thank you for all of your pictures. Is Hillsboro getting bad weather from this storm? Well, there is rain showers moving our general way right now. But as far as the severe stuff, it looks like to me, this batch of the real nasty stuff that you see here, that's all highlighted with warnings, is steering just a little bit south of Fargo. So with any luck, Fargo, Hillsboro, Halstead, Crookston will miss most of this severe nasty stuff. Grand Forks could be the same way. Let's shift over up to the radar here in our area. And let's see. The tornado warning has been canceled for you folks in Barnes County, but not for the Fort Ransom area. Here's the rotating part of the storm, and it's moving in towards Fort Ransom now. Don't know what we got as far as reports. Let me see your reports. Traveling to Wahpeton, Fargo around 8:30. Do I have anything to worry about? Yeah, that's about the time, Jamie, when the storm should be moving closer to Fargo. So between Wahpeton and Fargo, if you leave at 8:30, I'm hoping the storms are not in Wahpeton yet. So if you take a look at where these puppies are right now, they're not moving very fast. So as long as they do not change speed, right now, these, as far as Wahpeton goes, they're 70 miles away, moving at about 20 miles per hour. So do the math. That's still 2 or 3 hours away. That's 9 to 10 o'clock. Hopefully you're okay. Keep an eye on Hutch's weather and the radar here, and we'll keep you up to date. What does the night look like for Thief River Falls? Rain, showers. I'm not expecting severe storms there. There could be a few rumbles of thunder up in Thief River, Pennington County, but that's the way it's looking right now. Phones and sirens going off in Lisbon. Lisbon and Fort Ransom area, there is a very nasty, large hail-producing storm that has a history of 70-mile-per-hour straight-line wind gusts. If you're camping in Fort Ransom, please share this with anybody that you know is camping in Fort Ransom. If you're camping outside, this is not a good place to ride it out in a tent. It's not a good place to ride it out in a trailer. If you've got a camper, get out of stuff like that and get to something more sturdy. This is one nasty storm, and there's some oh, hi, Pedro. He's shaking. All right, so we've got some significant hail. You see the bright blues here in there and the pinks. This hail core is heading right towards Fort Ransom. This is the outflow from the storm. It's from this outflow right here, this little backward C-shaped thing here. This is where I think we're going to have the strongest wind gusts with this. It's crossing Highway 1 right now. Please excuse me. Highway 1, wind gusts upwards of 70 or maybe more miles per hour will be blasting through your area as we speak. This little naked area right here where there's no echoes. Sometimes with the spin of a thunderstorm, it can take out the rain and hailstones and it wraps it around the storm. And so that would be the area of rotation that I would expect to see. Let's see where the velocity shows the rotation. Is it here? It's right where I put my hand. It is right there. The spin lines up where the hole is in the storm right here. This is a rotating thunderstorm. It's moving on a beeline towards Fort Ransom. If you're in Fort Ransom, get to sturdy structures right now because you do not have a lot of time. It still said there was a considerable amount of time. Let me retime this for you. Here is the center of the rotation. Fort Ransom and Fort Ransom State Park, it's 8 miles away. It's moving at about 20 miles per hour. It's about 20 to 30 minutes away. You have some time, but it's a great idea to get out of campers and get out of tents and get out of structures that are not anchored to their foundation and get into one that is, okay? I don't think it's a safe thing when a tornado is down the street from you to run across town and try to find shelter. Now is the time to do it in Fort Ransom. You have time to get to shelter. Please do. And I hope you're streaming this on your phones out there and you have some good coverage in the area. This is a pretty nasty storm. Very large hail potential. If we take a look at the radar here, it's got a 2 by it. This is estimating 2.25 inch hail, 100% risk of severe probability of hail. So this is a big storm. And it's moving in the general direction of Fort Ransom. It is moving in the general direction of Lisbon. Your sirens may be going off. I don't want you to get siren fatigue, but it's going to be going off for a while because this storm is pretty slow moving. It's going to take a while to get to Lisbon. I'll keep watching it for you. It's a tornado-warned storm. The warning is for Fort Ransom. I do think there's some shear and spin going on here in the Lemoore County area. That spin is just off to the Marion area. Let me tell you how far from Marion it is. So as the crow flies from Marion, it is east-southeast by 12 miles. That's where the spin is. Thanks a lot. Val, I do need a beverage. I've got one here. Let me see. Okay, you can't see what type it is. It's a sugar water pop here. So that's what I got. No, not a barley pop. I'm not going to do that. I'm working here. All right. So starting to rain in Lisbon. Kylie, thank you for your report. So we do have some rain showers moving towards Lisbon. The rotating part of the storm and the very large hail is on its way, but it's going to be a little while before it gets there. So going back to the reflectivity, you're telling me I'm reporting rain. This does not show rain yet, but it's raining. That's why we need your reports. Thank you so very much, Kylie. I appreciate it. Southern South Dakota. Brenda, I'm going to get to you now, but there is the storm moving in on Fort Ransom and Lisbon here just outside of Fargo that is threatening campers and the like. Jeff, good to have you on board. Brenda, let's go to Southern South Dakota. I'll go real quick. We got a couple of storms working their way into the far south. These puppies are way out here by Winter. I'm going to go quickly to the Winter radar and get the closest radar to Winter and show you we got these isolated cells that are lining up. This is called a train, and they're all moving in the same direction. So this storm's going to leave, then this one's going to move where that one went, and this one's going to move where that one went. So you're going to have some very heavy rain. Hail is going to be a threat right now. It looks like 1 inch hail moving from these storms in southern South Dakota. There is a line of severe to tornadic storms working their way through central parts of Nebraska right now on the national end. And again, this is just north of Stapleton. This is north of North Platte, and there's an active tornado warning right here, north of North Platte, Nebraska. This line of storms, we told you yesterday that the risk in central parts of Nebraska and Kansas and southern parts of Nebraska and northern Kansas, very good for some spin. And we got active tornado warnings aplenty here. These are dangerous. Let's see if they're radar indicated. This is a radar indicated tornado here. 80 mile per hour wind and destructive storm threat right now. As we look towards Gothenburg, Kansas, ping pong balls and 80-mile-per-hour winds from that particular storm, and it's a radar indicated tornado. Those are just nasty storms. So that's a look for you real quick at southern South Dakota into Nebraska. There is a couple of storms not far from Redfield. There's a couple of storms out here heading into the general direction of, let's say, Watertown. Okay, so central parts in the I-29 corridor here. That's some pretty good size hail right there from that cell. And look at this going into Millbank and Ortonville. My bad. I'm losing it just a little bit. That's hiding behind the thing. So Ortonville, you got a pretty good sized storm moving through Big Stone and Ortonville. It's not severe at this time. Could be producing some 1/2-inch diameter hail, maybe 3/4-inch diameter hail. And it does look like moving into the Corona area, some significant thunderstorm activity and hail. This is in southern Roberts County. Not going to hit Sisseton at this point, but notice there's more of a northerly trajectory to these. So these we'll watch and see where they go in west central parts of Minnesota. This might be you folks in Wilkin County, Traverse County's best chance at seeing strong to severe storms. Okay, that's a look. Any potential for hail in Fargo? Yeah, there is potential. We do have a watch. I can't rule it out, but it does look like that potential is greater just south of us. This is the main event, and the main event is just bending south. Have I seen them split off and we have a left mover? Yes, that can happen. So that's why I say potentially. So yeah, there's potential for hail, and we'll keep our eyes on it. Thanks for the report of rain, Sephra. I appreciate it. That's happening in the Lemoore area. Active tornado warning for this tiny little sliver of area. It's Fort Ransom. Look at this. This bowing segment of wind is blowing right into Fort Ransom. This is that rear flank downdraft, the outflow of the thunderstorm, the collapsing rain and hail pushing away. And there was a measurement from the end-on folks, and that measurement was of nearly, 78-mile-per-hour winds? Let me get back to that. 79-mile-per-hour winds, 80-mile-per-hour winds at 3 meters and 10 meters move through Marion. 79 mile per hour. That's moving towards Fort Ransom, and it's some nasty wind, and it's accelerating. So we see it's going to get to Fort Ransom now. If you're in Fort Ransom, you should be in your safe area. This is a nasty storm. There's going to be the potential for significant hail. There's going to be the chance for some gusty straight line winds and a tornado. Cannot rule out a tornado. Let me show you where the spin is so you get a feel for that too. If you're watching, you should be in your safety shelter in the lowest floor possible of a sturdy structure. Get out of a manufactured home, a mobile home, a camper trailer. Get out of the tractor. It's time to get busy and find shelter and protect yourself. This is a very nasty storm capable of very strong straight line winds. Here is a look at the spin in the storm. I'm looking at straight velocity. Here's where the couplet is real close together. There's some strong, big time rotation in this storm like this. It's not right next to each other, but there's some weaker spin right next to each other right here where the greens and the reds are next to each other. That's moving towards Fort Ransom. We also have extremely strong signatures of a gust front moving through and into Fort Ransom right now. So the rotating part of the storm moving to Fort Ransom. How far away is it? It's right on the doorstep. It's literally 4 miles away. It's moving to the southeast. The movement of this thunderstorm cell is 26 miles per hour. So we will go ahead and measure the movement from the rotation through Fort Ransom at 29 miles per hour. And that puts it, the rotating part of the thunderstorm, you're going to get gusty winds blowing in. The rotating part of the thunderstorm 9 miles away. Let's go ahead and take a look at some details here. Sky is dark gray and green in Nome. Thank you, Shallon, for your report. Tornado heading towards Lidgerwood. Is that it? You're asking? Margie wants to know, is it heading towards Lidgerwood? Lidgerwood, you can see, is way down here. It's moving in your general direction. Sorry, I'm in the way. Lidgerwood's here. Rotating storm and tornado warning storm here. The risk of a tornado, I will just tell you, in your area is not great. It would take a lot for this storm to tornado all the way down to there, okay? So, but we're going to have to watch it. It is heading in your general direction, and I will do just that right here. We do have that evidence of significant hail with this particular storm as well. And just so that I don't get locked onto one storm here, I do want to take a picture of the greater area. Bismarck. Storms in and around your area, heading through Emmons County right now. Also, Sioux County, exiting Sioux County, Linton, HMB, right? Strasburg, you got a good-sized storm making its way towards your area. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Jen, for your support of stars. You all are the very best. I do appreciate that. The storms out west, I'm not going to say they're not quite as strong as what we're seeing out here in the east. This cell here, south of Beulah, south of Golden Valley, and Zap, that's fun to say, right? Moving east at 24 miles per hour might be the strongest one. It's probably capable of some. Well, let's look at what the radar estimates the hail might be out of this puppy. Hit the little I dot here. Not big. There's a 30% probability of some hail from that particular storm. Do I see anything else significant out west for our viewers out there? Nope. That's it. We're all but done out far west. And there's a watch out here, and that watch is until 10 o'clock Central Time. It does include Bismarck. It does include this area. But these storms have lost some of their inflow from this nonsense going on down here. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate you. Thank you for the kind words. All right. If you're in Hecla, the storm to your south, if you're in Britain, the storm to your south is nasty severe. That storm is diving south of you yet. So it's heading in that general direction of Langford and will likely continue its movement to the east-southeast and not impact you. It is a severe thunderstorm. Gusty straight-line winds will be a threat. A tornado is possible from that storm. This was a tornado-warned storm earlier. So 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds possible from that particular storm. Let's see if we got any measurements from this storm as it's making its way through Fort Ransom. I'm going right to the end on site here, driving back to Moorhead from Minneapolis. Will we run into these storms? Morgan, there's a chance you may. The risk of severe is not the greatest out there. Let me take a look at the regional radar. Okay, here we go. So here's the regional radar, and what you're going to drive through is a smattering of hit and miss showers and storms along Interstate 94 here. These cells are going to be drifting in the general direction of I-94. It just depends on your timing, if you shoot the gap here, if you will. And these storms will be moving towards Fargo the closer we get to around that 9 to 10 o'clock time frame. It's now 7:46. Safe travels to you. That's a quick look for you. Thanks for the question. Now, a quick look over here at this storm. 80-mile-per-hour winds is what the Weather Service is saying, but we got the measurement of 79. I'm going right to the end on site here. I'm going to look at some winds in the southeast part of the state. Okay, current winds, peak wind gusts, 71 mile per hour, or 71 knots. No, that says mile per hour. Okay. Yeah, okay. So there are some up to 80 mile per hour winds measured at a location. I want to show you something here. So bear with me while I save this puppy, and then we'll open it. And now I'm going to show you right now. One of the things to keep in mind here is that winds, when we measure them, we can measure them at individual sites, and that's what's going on here. And these individual sites have measured a peak gust as a storm moved through you folks down there. And I was talking about Marion getting some nasty wind and rotation. 80 mile per hour wind gust measured at 33 feet off the ground. This is 33 feet off the ground. 63 in Ramsey County there from the storms that moved through there earlier. That's pretty nasty. That can mix down to the ground. That's what's heading into Fort Ransom right now. So I just wanted to verify with you that you see that this storm is going to be capable of some strong winds. Now, this is a site measurement at that location only. Doppler radar allows us to see in the storm a little bit clearer, and it can help us to pick out areas in between the rain gauges, in between the wind measurements. That's why we call it a remote instrument. It's huge for helping us see where the strongest winds might be blowing. So here's what Hutch can look at, and with my expertise in this type of instrumentation, we can take a look at where we see these backwards C shapes moving right through Fort Ransom now. the apex of that backward C shape is oftentimes where we have the strongest of the wind coming in. So right through Fort Ransom, right through the south part of Fort Ransom, that gust of wind is intense. We got a new tornado warning now. Let's go with this. Let's tell you, the tornado warning is radar indicated. Golf ball size hail is possible. The warning's in effect for the next 26 minutes. Tornado possible in the surrounding areas in orange. It's a destructive storm with 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but there's a tornado warning for you in Fort Ransom now. This is just issued by the National Weather Service. I'll go ahead and peruse this with you. It's for the Fort Ransom area only. It is not inclusive of Lisbon yet. The Doppler radar said 26 miles south of Valley City. The storm is moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. Golf balls and tornado is possible. Flying debris is dangerous. Seek shelter in that interior room. Stay away from windows. So again, this is one we're not going to be able to see inside the storm to get to the rotating part of the storm and see. So let's go ahead and look at the velocity inside the storm. And there it is. We've got some rotation. You see what radar I'm looking from. Okay. All right. Yeah, so essentially, we do have some white in between the bright greens and the reds. There is some spin in this storm, though, and it's pretty broad. There is some spin down on the south side of the storm as well. The Doppler radar cannot help me because the wind is blowing across the beam, so I cannot give you a magnitude that the Doppler radar is seeing as far as wind speeds go. I just don't have a good enough angle on this from the Doppler radars that we have available to us. Maybe the best might be Bismarck, but it's so far away, it's too high. I'm not even going to go there. Rotating storm moving in through Fort Ransom right now. It's heading towards Elliott and Lisbon. A tornado is possible. Large hail for some areas, not all areas in the warning area, but for some of you in this warning area, you're going to get some huge hail. And there's also going to be that risk for some gusty straight line winds. We've already had one measurement that pushed 80 miles per hour. So this is a dangerous storm. This is a whole line of storms right now is the way it looks on the radar, right? You might get the storm moving through, say, Elliott or Lisbon, and it looks like it splits around you. Storms, the farther we get away from the radar beam expands. So the radar makes these storms look bigger than they actually are. So that's why as they approach your town, what looks like this huge line of solid storm, you might get 0 rain here, but you might get 3 inches of rain here. So keep that in mind. This storm looks like a solid line of thunderstorms. It's not. Each individual storm with its rain shaft underneath it definitely can impact a smaller area than this whole area of red that you're seeing on the radar. I hope that helps explain that aspect of what it is we're looking at. So is the bad stuff going to miss Enderlin? Well, it's right close to you. The worst of it is going to miss Enderlin. Look at this. This particular cell here is diving just to the south of Enderlin. Not by much. You're going to get heavy rain in Enderlin. But with regards to the real big hail potential and the real big spin or wind potential, it looks like that's sliding to your south. I hope that helps. Black skies 4 miles west of Lisbon. Anything coming to Lake Park Cormorant? Not until much later, and the risk of severe is quite low once we get past dark. I'll keep you updated, Molly. Thank you. Okay, somebody commented and said it's really bad in Fort Ransom right now. Thank you. That was 2 minutes ago. Rhiannon, thank you very much for your report. I sure appreciate that. Let me see if I've got any other reports from the National Weather Service. The tornado warning has been issued by Grand Forks. Let's see what Bismarck says. We do have some flooding going on out there. I do want to kind of stick with the radar. The radar is showing that this is Fort Ransom right here. It's the Fort Ransom Park. It's a beautiful area, wildlife area. I've hiked there, I've camped there. Absolutely stunning country, but there's terrain. There's heavy rain, flooding rains, hail, and gusty straight line winds are moving through right now. Now, is there a chance of a tornado? Yes, this whole storm could have a tornado. There is some rotation showing up on this part of the storm. This is the outflow of the storm. This is the hail producing part of the storm. And where the hail is falling, this is just where the radar sees it. Where it's hitting the ground might be a little bit different than what you're seeing here on the radar. You can clearly see, though, that this whole line of storms moving to the southeast would put it very close to going straight through Lisbon, right? Because if that's the north edge moving in this direction, and this is the gusty south edge, then anyone from Lisbon to Elliott has a good chance at seeing this impacts from this storm. Not all of you will see hail. Hail will be impacting a small area. Gusty straight line winds will be most prominent right here, but that might change too. And there's some rotation evident in the storm right here as it's making its way through Fort Ransom. So let's take a look at what we're going to see with regards to the spin in this particular storm. Yeah, it's still there, but the rotating, spinny part of the storm, there's one here, there's one here. Here's Lisbon. So it's passed through Fort Ransom. It's nasty in Fort Ransom. Stay in your shelter. It's still nasty in Fort Ransom, and you still got a whole bunch of wind coming through. You still got a whole bunch of very heavy rain coming through as well. That's what's going on there. Lemoore County, you do have a severe thunderstorm warning issued from the National Weather Service in Bismarck. This is for 70-mile-per-hour winds and considerable damage from hail that could be golf ball sized going through that area. That's what the National Weather Service says. That warning remains in effect until 8 o'clock. So it's 7:55. So the storm, as you can see, is on the outside. It's exiting that entire area there for you folks in Lemoore County. So that's the good news. All right, synopsis. Out west, it's all but done, the way it looks to Hutch. There's a couple of thunder showers around Lake Sakakawea. There's still a watch out in the Bismarck area, but the greatest risk for storms is happening here. This is the main event making its way through. We are starting to see this little, I like to call it a triple point or a warm front kind of area right down here. There could be some very nasty storms here in west central and southwest parts of Minnesota, west of Wilmer. This is in that Benson, Morris area. We're going to keep our eyes on that. But the main event for us right here, right now, it's continuing across the Dakotas, all the way into Kansas, all the way south into Texas, Kearney, Lexington, tornadic storms making their way through the Lexington area, and 80-mile-per-hour winds, much like what we're seeing in our area. You definitely have the backward C shape to this, and along this Boeing segment of storms, we can see spin-ups with those storms as well. So those are nasty. They extend all the way down into the Goodland, Kansas area, where we have an active severe thunderstorm warning for the storm in that area. Let's get a little closer radar and we can see. Look at that kidney bean shape. You can clearly see the outflow from this line of storms. That is a gust front. So if you live right here, your wind might be coming out of the south, and it's like a ho-hum day, except the skies are getting dark. Once this line moves through, your wind is going to smack you from the west-northwest. It's coming from this way. And just as I speak of it, the Weather Service here has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for this. Gusty straight line winds. This kidney bean shape over here, while it's not a hook yet, it's some outflow. And notice the wrinkle in the outflow here. There's an inflow here, and there could be the best chance of a tornado in that particular storm. And it's not far from Goodland, Kansas. Let's take a look at the velocities in that storm, shall we? That one there, moving into the Goodland area, we do have some, well, the Goodland radar's right here. It might be too close to capture the data from this. We have greens next to reds, but whites in the middle. The whites in the middle are a good sign. That usually means that it's a broad rotation and not a tight rotation. It's a gradual change in direction of wind as we go through the area. But definitely one to keep our eyes on for you folks in Goodland, Kansas. Severe weather spreads down through the Garden City area. We got strong thunderstorms moving into Dodge City. Borger, as we get into the panhandle of Texas, we got a severe thunderstorm warning for you. Get you a little closer radar. There is a chance of golf balls and 70-mile-per-hour winds from this storm, and it is moving off to the east at a slow clip, only 10 miles per hour. It's moseying through the prairies and the panhandle of Texas. Here we go. There is a look at 3 separate thunderstorm cells working their way through Texas right now. They're all moving eastbound, but they're moving pretty slow. So very heavy rain and some hail. Here's a tornado warning here north of the Silverton area. Do you see this little notch in it? You can't miss that hook. That's a hook echo. Spin is likely right there. Put your eyes on that spot where the green is, right here where my hand is, and I'm going to flip this over to the velocity. And if we see the greens next to the red, that's where I'd expect to see them. And yep, it's right here. So that's where the rotation is, and it's quite strong. We have greens next to the yellows and oranges, so that's where the shear is. And let's see what's going on here. It's a radar indicated tornado, and it's generally, let's see how fast it's moving. Nearly stationary, near or 10 miles north of Silverton. That's in Texas. And that's what's going on there. A very destructive storm, 2.75-inch hail diameter possible from that. Big Springs, Texas, and Midland, we're seeing storms exiting the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but not before dumping so much rain. We have flood warnings, flash flood warnings through the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Longview, Texas, down towards Shreveport, Louisiana. We're seeing some strong storms heading into that neck of the woods right now. 1-inch hail and gusty straight-line winds are the main threat from those particular storms, the way the National Weather Service down south sees it. Longview, Texas, heading towards you, my friend, and Tyler as well. I have a friend in Longview. Steve, I hope you're doing well. Take care, good buddy. Now, as we go down to the very far south, we do have way down here, flash flood warning down near the Newton area, Alexandria, down in the areas of south and western parts and parishes of Louisiana. Now, there were some strong to severe thunderstorms in the along the dry line in Texas, tennis ball-sized hail, and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts from this puppy here, deep in the south of Texas as we look down at this one, moving off to the southeast at a slow clip as well. Those being fired off there along that dry line. So continuing in our area here in the Fargo area, Fort Ransom, under a tornado warning. The tornado warning is not in Lisbon at this particular time. That storm is blowing quickly towards your area. We do have ping pong ball size hail threat, destructive 80-mile-per-hour wind threat, and there is an observed tornado now. Oh boy. Okay, so we've got an observed tornado. Let me get to the latest on this. Folks, it's just happening right as we speak. Okay, we do have some pictures from the emergency manager. This is Aberdeen area. Okay, so I'm looking at Aberdeen, north of Columbia and Marshall County. Okay, let me look at our area. Okay, Grand Forks. Fort Ransom. It just says observed, but I don't see a storm report from anyone out here. So I'm going to go with it. We have an observed tornado working its way through. Let me read what the text says here from the National Weather Service with you. The National Weather Service says we have a confirmed tornado near or over Fort Ransom, 27 miles south of Valley City, moving east, southeast, southeast at 20 miles per hour. Tornado, golf ball size hail. Please seek shelter in that interior room. Get to the lowest floor possible. This is a very dangerous situation. Do not ride it out in a camper. It's already through the area of Fort Ransom, the way it was looking to me. Fort Ransom, it's heading in the general direction of you folks in Lisbon as well. Flying debris is very dangerous, so you want to get as low as you can. Seeking shelter in that interior room of a very sturdy structure is the best advice we can get. Get out of campers, get out of mobile homes and manufactured homes. And now is the time, if you're in Lisbon, to start thinking about seeking shelter in somewhere very, very sturdy. I'm going to take a look here at some content that I usually have up here for you. Let's see. Let's put this up here. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay, I will wait on that. What I'm not going to wait on is this. This is a very dangerous storm. We've been talking about it here for some time, making its way towards Fort Ransom. There is now an observed tornado that the National Weather Service has reported. If you can kind of see, there's a notch in the storm right here. That would be one area. And then there's another notch on the south side here. That would be another area that I'd be concerned about for the shear or spin in the storm. I'm going to turn on the radar sight so I can look at which one I'm coming from here. Thank you very much for your stars and your support. Pardon me. Wendy, I appreciate it. How about Walcott? Pardon me while I finish this thought here, and I'll see what I can find out. This storm then, if we look at the velocities, let's go to just the base velocity here. Okay, so you could, yeah, it's right over Fort Ransom. Okay, so here is the area. There is spin right over Fort Ransom. We do have some evidence of some spin way on the south side of this branch or line of storms as well. Let's loop this, and I'll show you that this kind of went this way and then backed back in. So let's see if I can loop it here. Oh, that's only 7 frames. That might be enough. Let's see. Got to hit the play button. Okay, so there were some very strong winds blowing out this way. That's inbound towards Mayville. And then there's wind coming in this way down through Fort Ransom right now. That's north to south wind. And then this system is going to bring a very gusty west-northwest wind into places like Elliott. There is some evidence of some spin or a little pocket right here near Elliott right now as well. It's very weak, but it's high up. So this whole area is very concerning. Large hail, ping pong ball size hail, a little over 1 inch in diameter, possible from this cell as it works its way to the south and east towards Lisbon. Let's go ahead and get you some timings on the storm once again. And if you have a report, thank you for sharing. Tornadoes in Fort Ransom and Lisbon. Kylie says, tornado sirens going off in Lisbon. Okay, so if you are in Lisbon, you notice that the warning does not include the city of Lisbon, but they're sounding the alarm because this storm has a confirmed tornado and it's moving directly towards you. So the confirmed tornado is near Fort Ransom right now, but the leading edge of the storm is right here. So you're going to get hit with some rain and some hail, and then after that, there is a chance for a tornado. We can see it along this leading edge as well, but this is a dangerous storm. Anyone, Elliott, Lisbon, rural portions between Fort Ransom and Lisbon along Highway 27 and north on 32, you should be seeking shelter in an interior room away from windows. Very large hail with where the pink is here near Fort Ransom, where I drew the line. That's the first thing you're going to feel. And if I take a look from that line and measure how far that is out from Lisbon, it's not very far. So Lisbon, as far as this goes, it's 4.5 miles outside of Lisbon. The sky must be dark there. Observed in Fort Ransom, says Kylie, and we are lucky to have you in Fargo. Terry, I really, really humbly appreciate your comments there. Fargo to Dickinson, Daniel says. Fargo, not bad. As you go west right now, you're going to run into some storms, but the strongest are south of Interstate 94. You're going to get out there pretty good shape, it looks like, if that's what you mean by your question. Travel. Fargo to Dickinson now, worse down south of the interstate. Heading to Detroit Lakes? No. Nick, this is not heading to Detroit Lakes. It's heading towards Wahpeton, Breckenridge, and we'll keep you posted if it maintains. It's only about 3.5, 4 miles outside of Lisbon, the leading edge of the storm. The rotating part of the storm is still out here by Fort Ransom, and that is about 10.5 to 11.5 miles away from Lisbon. So I will keep with you. If you're in Lisbon, this is what I want you to do. And kids, if you're home, if you're outside having a big graduation party, let me tell you, it's now time to pull the rug on the party and get inside and seek shelter. This storm has produced almost 80-mile-per-hour winds measured. That's number one. Number two, there's rotation that's been showing up on this since about an hour ago, and a tornado has been confirmed on the ground with this storm near Fort Ransom. It's moving right towards Lisbon, so you have time to respond. I want you to say this with me. Walls, walls, walls. I want you to put as many walls between you and this storm as you can. Get to the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Get to the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Basements are the best, because if you're in the basement, you're underground, and if you're in the basement, the debris is flying over your head. So any sticks, twigs, trees, or anything else flying through the air is above you. Get to the basement if you have one. Get to an interior room of that basement and make sure you protect your head. I know you can't see me here, but if you have a doorway, the doorway could be, if you have a desk, get under a desk, support your head. So if something collapses in the house, you're protected. You need to get out of things like, and this is not a joke, this is serious business. If you're camping, get out of a camper, get out of the tent, and find that sturdy structure. Maybe there is a well-built brick shower house at the campground, right? Okay, you should be there in Fort Ransom. If you're in Lisbon, you need to get out of mobile homes, manufactured homes, and get to somewhere more sturdy. Get to the most interior room that you can on the lowest floor and get low. and wait for us to give you the all clear. I hope everything is okay. It should be. It's just we got a tornado warning, and it's serious, and it's a nasty storm, and it's moving into a populated area in the Cheyenne River Valley right now. It's moved through Fort Ransom and is over Fort Ransom now. The hail, the rain, and the tornado warning continues for Fort Ransom. The tornado warning is this pink and red box. The tornado warning is not in Lisbon, but the sirens are sounding. And I'm just walking you through this. I want you to seek shelter in that room, in the interior room, the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Lisbon, the leading edge of the storm, is working its way towards you as we speak. Okay, I'm going to go out, make sure I'm not missing anything for our viewers. Northwest Minnesota, Hallock, Kennedy, standard showers. Stephen, Argyle, North, maybe Carl said you're going to see a thunder shower making its way over. Not much lightning with it though, right? These are garden variety showers with locally heavy rain. Crookston, rain moving through your area. And if you were asking about Fisher, now's your chance. It maybe just passed you a little bit ago, but there's some showers moving through that area right now. Grand Forks, I think your shot at rain and thunder is all but done. Okay, I think that your risk for severe weather is all but done. Valley City, Jamestown, your risk for severe weather is all but done. Flooding continues. It looks like the flash flood warning continues in and around the metro area of Jamestown and North Jamestown and the college and the airport. Those areas taken on an abundant amount of water. Tornado warning has been extended to Lisbon. Okay, getting loud near Kindred now, looking wild to the west. About 20 minutes, figure we start seeing serious stuff. Trev, thank you for the report. If you are looking from the Leonard area and the Kindred area, here's Kindred, here's Leonard. Here's a tornadic storm not too far from you as a crow flies. It's sneaking to the southeast. This white line shows the direction of movement, at least latest movement calculated by the National Weather Service Doppler radar. Okay. And this storm is heading into Lisbon. If you're in Lisbon, I know I'm repetitive, but it's important. Get out of a mobile home, get out of a manufactured home, and get into a sturdy structure. And don't be wandering through town now. It's time to get there. It's time to be there and get low. Kids, stay calm. We don't have time to bring everything with us into our safe places, but hopefully you know where that is. Talk about it with your family. An interior room and walls, walls, walls. Put as many walls between you and this storm as you can. Okay? If this storm is still producing a tornado and if it picks up some debris, it'll throw it at homes. It'll throw it everywhere. And if you're outside, you can obviously get caught by it. If you're standing by a window and you're looking outside, a tree branch can fly through and cause you to get hit. Tornado on the ground in Lisbon. Kylie, if that's the case, get in your shelter and stay in your shelter. If that's true, I'm going to look at the National Weather Service report. Inflow increasing. Tornado warning, Fort Ransom. Okay. I'm going to look at one more source, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Is Fergus Falls going to get hit? It'll be very, very late. It'll be very, very late in Fergus Falls. That's all I have time for right now. In Lisbon, I don't know if it's confirmed that a tornado is on the ground. It's confirmed that this storm has produced a tornado, and it does look like the velocity, the spin that I'm going to show you right now is near Lisbon. Right here is where I see the spin, but that doesn't mean that we don't have something going on in Lisbon. You probably heard very gusty winds from the northwest just now hitting Lisbon. And this area back here, I got to zoom it out just a little bit so my finger don't get cut off. This area back here where the green and red is, that is where the likely tornado is. It's just got extended though. The warning does include Lisbon. So now is the time to seek shelter. Don't worry about whether it's a straight line wind. Don't look out the window. It's very, very windy. This storm has a history of 80 mile per hour winds. 80 mile per hour winds can topple trees onto homes, onto cars. You don't want to be driving through town in this nonsense. If you're anywhere downwind from Lisbon, the gust front, the leading edge of this storm is going to be heading your way. Gwinner, the main energy from this storm is right here. Pardon me, with any luck, it's going to pass Milner. You would be in the path of this storm, as would be the national grasslands, the Cheyenne National Grasslands. Back to the regular reflectivity display. There is a brand new huge thunderstorm warning for this long bowing segment of storms. Is it heading towards Wahpeton? Here's Wahpeton. Yes, the storm is moving towards Wahpeton. It's a long ways from Wahpeton yet, though. The leading edge of the storm is now just in Lisbon. As the crow flies, it's 50 miles away. It's moving at about 25 miles per hour. That's 2 hours away. It's now 8:13. That's the 10 o'clock hour like we've been talking. It can accelerate. What about Sheldon? You're going to be in the path of the storm as well. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm not excluding any communities here with regards to where the storm is. But you're going to get the rain here in Sheldon. The rotating part of the storm is just to the south of you. The hail is to the south of you, and it's kind of moving in a southerly direction. You're in the warning, though. So seek shelter in Sheldon. Stay away from the windows. You're going to get gusty winds. Those winds on your side of the storm could exceed 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. Where we see this backwards sea thing, there's some nasty gusty winds there. And this thing in particular, ridiculous winds. This is not only where we could be seeing the tornado right here at this conjunction of this line and this line, right here, moving towards Lisbon now. This is a downdraft. This is going to cause the storm to escalate, move more quickly to the south and to the east, and it's going to possibly develop even more thunderstorms down on the south side of this particular system. Thank you, you guys. I appreciate your kind words. Thanks, Natasha. How about Detroit Lakes? Very late, Shailene. Right now, we do have some showers and storms in your area. Cormorant Lakes area. Let me see if I can move this over real quick. Right now, Cormorant Lakes, Lake Eunice, we got a thunder shower. That's it. It's not severe. It's not expected to be severe. Vergus, we got storms. Where we could have a chance at some severe storms, these puppies down here near Henning, those are moving northeast. Those are stronger. This stuff out here in the Ortonville area is moving in your general direction of southern Otter Tail County. That's where the better chance will be. So if you are up in the Pelican area or Cormorant area, the chance of severe there is a lot lower. That's how it looks. Will it get bad in Fargo? It looks like to me. If we want to just play projection here, let's get my pencil out. I'm going to get a big marker because I like big markers and I cannot lie. Okay. These rain showers are moving towards Fargo and DL. Here's the main event moving this way. Got it? North of this line, the risk, in my humble opinion right now, is a little lower. I will say this. You can get this storm here to break off and go straight east, though. And if that happens, then we could get a strong storm. Amanda, thanks for the kind words. Thank you very much. Okay. The best chance at severe weather from this Boeing line segment is southeast North Dakota. Parts of Wilkin County, Traverse County, Lake Traverse, Sisseton Hills. More storms heading towards you from the west right now, very slowly. Up north, where you see just this green stuff, that's just garden variety thunder showers. Deer are booking to beat the heck to the wood line. They know something's cooking. I think animals aren't amazing. They just have that sixth sense. They can hear and sense things we can't. How about Wheaton, Rita? Wheaton is in the path of the storms, yes. It'll be a while before they get here. I've been telling people in and around the Wahpeton, Breckenridge area closer to 10 o'clock, and I do think that that'll be about right. Pull my pencil back. Okay, Lisbon. This Boeing thing that you're seeing moving through here, it's moved through Elliott now. Elliott, it looks quiet there. Light green, rain, nothing. It's probably windier than snot there right now. That wind is very strong and it's pushing this way. The wind is what's causing this to bow this way. We have this cluster down to the south. Let's analyze the spin. We still have some hail. The radar to me says 1-inch diameter hail or a little larger. Moving across, that'd be the Highway 32 corridor right now. That hail will be north of Lisbon. But look at this notch. Remember, we've been following this little notch here? Got this area, got this area, and right here. Let's see if there's spin there. Let's see where the rotation is. Or is it behind the line? Is it back in here? It's right over Lisbon. So if you're in Lisbon, please just stay in your sheltered place. You're okay. You may want to get your laptop or cell phone out, make sure it's charged up, and you can keep up with Hutch on your cellular device. Just grab that puppy right here and pull me up on Facebook. How many of you are watching from your phones right now? How many of you are watching from your TVs on the YouTube feed that I've got going on? How many of you are watching from what platform? Remember, severe thunderstorms with the lightning and whatnot can cause some power problems, and we do have some areas that had some 80 mile per hour gusts. Here's the rotating part of the storm. It's right over Lisbon. Okay. If there's a tornado, my phone, Tara Ann says, good. That way you don't lose power. And Charlene says on the phone, watching from the phone in Lisbon now. Courtney, thank you so much. Well, all I can say is my heart is poured out to everybody in Lisbon. I hope everybody has passed along the word. I hope that the sirens that have been going on for the longest time, that's your emergency manager. You need to give them a big pat on the back. That's the National Weather Service. Give them a big pat on the back, doing their jobs. Phone on Facebook, Douglas, Sam. Thanks, Eric. Gosh, good to hear from all of you. Joanne watching from the phone and casting to the TV. I love that. Make sure your TV, if you're watching from a stormy area like Lisbon, you're in a safe place. My phone on Facebook, anything in Fargo. Kayla, right now, nothing in Fargo. The 10 o'clock hour looks to be the best chance, and it looks like just rain right now, but I can't rule out that we get what's called a left mover from this line. And if we get a left mover breaking off, then I'll watch it. But right now, I think that the main threat is southeast North Dakota. Okay, this storm is continuing to move towards Lisbon, and it's moving over Lisbon with its rotation. There's a very gusty signature right here, this Boeing segment right here. Elliott, like I said, you were probably getting some just ridiculous winds through the Elliott area right now. And as we take a look at Sisseton down to the south, Foreman, you're now in the thunderstorm warning in Oaks as well. Foreman as well. Let's look at this Oaks storm. A little bit too high for you here. We're going to go back to the regular reflectivity. A lot of lightning. Look at that Fullerton storm. This thing just popped up and got really intense. Hi, Michael. Good to have you on board. It's good to see you, my friend. In Bismarck, but I've been watching on Facebook on the phone. Thank you so much. Thanks for keeping us updated. You betcha. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate your kind words. Watching from North Carolina, David. Thanks for watching. Here in Fullerton, we got a hail cell in the pink area here. You got this line moving through, and then you got this bend and over to the side. So this is part of the Boeing line segment up here from the tornadic storm. What I want to do is look at the velocities in this, because what I was just seeing was some evidence of reds and greens next to each other. Do you see it too? I do. Okay, a lot of lightning in there. Let me go to the storm relative velocity, and yeah, I do see it. So near Fullerton, we got a little bit of spin in this puppy too. The National Weather Service says 1-inch hail, 60 mile per hour wind. There's no tornado likely tag on it or anything of that nature, but it's a rotating thunderstorm. It's a stout thunderstorm. Prepare for hail in Oaks. Prepare for hail in Clement. And as the storm makes its way off to the east, it really is only about 10 miles away from Oaks. Looking at the movement of the storm here from the National Weather Service, I'm going to do that from their warning. Their warning text says that this particular storm is moving at 30 miles per hour. It's northeast of you in Ellendale, but it's heading right towards Oaks. 30 miles per hour. That's pretty quick. Excuse me, please. I'd like to pull out the regular radar. Okay, look at that. Even the hail is bowing on this sucker. And now it's up to 2 inches in diameter. Michael, thank you. Where are you watching from, Michael? Again, please share with me. I'm glad that you're in the bathroom. Hopefully there's no windows there. Think about your home. Think about where the structure of your home offers the most support around you. Most hallways don't have windows. Many bathrooms don't have windows, but a hallway and a hallway closet, my closet don't have windows. That might be the best place to be. Think about your house. Think about where the lowest floor is, an interior room, no windows, just a hallway. You want as many walls between you and the storm as you can. Returning to coverage of this Clement storm. This has a Boeing hail core. Look at that thing. It's bending out that way. Gusty winds, hail, and it's heading right towards Oaks. I don't think it's moving at 30 miles per hour. I'm going to reassess myself here. Let's see. Where's it going? Okay. It's kind of just forming to the south, isn't it? Really cool to watch. Not cool to go through. Prepare for large hail. 2 to 3 inch diameter hail. Let's take a look at the measurements of the hails. Hail's 100% probability of severe size hail. 2 1/4 inch will be the largest stone that the radar estimates right now. May not be that big by the time it gets to the ground, but 2 inch diameter hail possible. Moving right towards Oaks. Oaks, if you're in the path of this storm, now is the time to plan on battening down the hatches. Prepare for wind gusts upwards of 60 plus miles per hour. Hail over 2 inches in diameter, not out of the question with this at this present time. And there's a little spin in that cell as well. How late you staying with us tonight? Incredible weather. Thank you, Douglas. I'm going to stay with you as long as I need to. I do think that the models have not been very good with this particular storm, but they never are precise or exact, almost ever. But what we can say is that most of the models show by the time these get through the 10 o'clock hour and head into Minnesota, the risk of severe weather wanes considerably. Huge cluster of severe storms moving out of the Millbank area, heading in towards Montevideo, Watertown, South Dakota, moving north. But they're moving north. Look what happens to them when they move north. They're petering out, okay? The energy in the atmosphere up north here, not as good, okay? These storms that move out of North Dakota into Minnesota tonight, later, not only do we lose the daylight heating, but we also lose, well, look at this. These storms down here are going to rob the moisture. So there's south winds coming in, fueling these storms, and that's going to cut these ones off, possibly. So what about Northwood later on? Northwood later on, rain. Not Northwood, North Dakota, no problems. You're all but through the meat and potatoes of this puppy. Let me select the Mayville radar. I don't see anything upwind from you. I don't expect nothing later on. Thunder and lightning near Fargo. Thank you. Lightning, West Fargo. Good lightning. Detroit Lakes. No warning for Fargo. I'll say this, no warning for Fargo. We have the north side of town here near the airport getting some. So if you're up there by Argusville, Cragness, and Harwood, we got some showers and storms, Riley's Acres. You can see Fargo Hector here, 71, wind from the south. You're hearing that thunder. It's happening. It's coming close. Tower City. There's a little Boeing segment here. We don't see the bright pinks. The hail is not ridiculous or redonkulous. This one looks like it might be moving more due east. Let me look at that. I think this whole cluster is slowly moving east and south. That might mean a better chance in Horace than in Fargo of seeing the real heavier rain. But we have new development taking place right here on the north side. See how it's just not moving and it's just developing. That's what's going on. How you doing in Lisbon? How you doing, Lisbon? This tornado warning continues for you. You can see the curlicue happening right here. You see this whole thing spinning. The whole cluster of thunderstorms is just rotating. How can you miss that? I-94, water covered, Cleveland to Gackle exit, traffic standstill, directed by troopers. Thank you for your report. I-94 is a wet mess right now, or was earlier. Strong rotation west of Lisbon. Okay, Kylie, thank you very much. I appreciate that coming from a friend of mine. I'll leave it at that. Eric does great work. I love Eric. Strong rotation west of Lisbon is what you said. So that's what we're going with. There's the curlicue right there, okay? Don't know what time that report came from. Storm coming your way. Thanks for passing the word along, Mary Bart. I appreciate that. So far, so good in Lisbon. Thank you, Michael, for your report there. You're in Lisbon. Bathroom, not a bad place to be if it's on the lowest floor and it's in an interior room. Let's see what's going on with regards to the latest velocity with the storm. We have very gusty winds. We have some rotation showing up here to the east of Lisbon now. We have some rotation showing up to the south of Lisbon now. So this storm is moving. Now, that doesn't mean that you're in the clear in Lisbon. You're not. There's the rotation. It moved right into town, right there. And now it's just moving east of town. Okay, so that the rotation is not done and out of town yet. It's almost moving right along Highway 27 the way it looks. I'm not sure what we're seeing elsewhere. Pretty dark west of Kindred now, getting stronger and stronger, guessing 15 to 20 minutes. Thanks, Trev. Let's go take a look at some DOT cams because there are a few down here near Fort Ransom in this area. So let's zoom in and take a peek. It might. Okay, warning, you see the triangle here near Jamestown? That's the flooded roads that we were talking about. It's just underwater, okay? Taking a look at the Medina area, look at this. Look at the dark clouds out there. You can see these puppies from that far away. Are you kidding me? Okay, now let's go south where this is happening. Let's get to the Lisbon area. Here's Foreman looking up towards Lisbon. The Foreman camera, I'm very sorry, but it doesn't show up very well. Verona doesn't show the sky very well. I'm not going to get very good view of this particular storm. Let's look down towards Ellendale and Oaks. Cullum. I'm not going to see anything. I hate to be a Debbie Downer. And if your name's Debbie, I'm not being a downer on your name. Ashley. Yep, things are clearing out of Ashley. Foreman, dark, dark clouds. Oh, very, very dark clouds. So here's Foreman on the radar. They're coming your way. They're coming from the straight west. There's that line moving through Oaks now, and they're coming from the Lisbon area to the north. So yeah, yep, that's what we got going on there in Foreman. Okay, let's see, what else do we got going on? Valley City and western parts of Cass County, rather, I'm sorry. Let's look at Castleton. Castleton showing that we really don't have too many low or dark clouds coming into the FM area right now. There are some storms developing north of town. Let's take a look at what those look like. Yep, they're dark. You can see them here. Am I worried about those? We are in a watch. We'll continue to monitor the development of those and see if they get stronger. Sometimes storms that form in an area that hasn't had the strongest of thunderstorms yet has more energy to work with. Now, Valley City, Sanborn, the exit out here. Look at this. Look at that sky. I mean, just wow. The bright sunshine starting to show back up on the one end, and very dark and rainy, and just you can just see how ominous things are looking down there as you look down to the south in southern Barnes County. Okay, so I'm not seeing too terribly much from our sky cams in those areas. Flooding in and around Jamestown, a little bigger than pea-size hail in Lisbon. Ellie, thank you so very much. Rain, lightning, thunder, Lisbon, some hail, itty-bitty nothing, not too big. Wow! Okay, that's good news for Lisbon. The hail size, well, that hail core looked like it was just a little bit farther north of Lisbon. So that's very good. Let's take a look at the radar once again. Thanks, Wayne. Thanks so much, Jamie. Love that you're watching on the phone on Facebook. That's fantastic. Tornado warning. Look at this curlicue here. This whole storm, this is not one thunderstorm. This is a whole solid line of thunderstorms. And it starts up north, and it moves into Lisbon, and it moves down to, there's going to be a little gap in between some of these storms, but these are all part of a system. And here's something I'm starting to see here. A little low pressure system starting to form right over Lisbon. That, my friends, is what we call a mesoscale convective complex. This is a cluster of thunderstorms that's getting so organized that one feeds the next, and it's also rotating. It might even, if it were to continue on, be characterized as what we would call a mesoscale convective vortex. If this continues, this little, well, comma shape or curlicue shape. That's what you're looking at there. More cool meteorology that has Hutch all interested and excited. Looking west of Fargo, looking out there by Tower City. These showers are drifting slowly to the south, as are the ones out of the Ariska area, heading down into southwestern parts of Cass County. If you are in Enderlin, you're going to get some storminess. The strongest, well, there's a strong cell just north of you now. It's not severe, but it could have some hail. And I'm talking half-inch hail. Downpouring here now with lots of thunder. Thanks, Megan. I sure appreciate that. That's Kindred area. I'm seeing Kindred starting to see the approach of something. Look at this thing. Just show up. That is amazing. So remember I told you it might get to Fargo earlier because we might get some back building? Look what's happening. we're getting this building or developing line of storms. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be severe. In fact, the chances aren't fantastic of it. But now all of a sudden, we have this new string of storms starting to fire along a line here between areas near Argusville and south in towards Leonard. And that's what's going on. So I'll keep my eyes on that. That gives me something else to do. Megan's in Enderlin. Thank you very much, Megan. And reporting some very heavy rain. There is what could be some smaller hail just off to the north of you, not far from Nome. It's halfway between you and Nome. It's moving in your general direction there, right along the county line and the highway, right? So get ready for that. Sheldon, you got heavy rain too. Lisbon, tornado threat. Let's analyze it. Most of our winds in Lisbon are all unidirectional. They're all outbound away from the radar. We have a couple areas here where we do have some inflow here. It's on the leading edge of the tornado warning. It's on its way out. I won't say the tornado risk is done, but it looks like it's exiting off to the east. There is spin right here moving towards Milner. Okay, there is some spin. Thank you very, very much, Val. I appreciate you for saying that. Yeah, this is pretty weak, but there is some spin working its way just northeast of Gwinner and Milner. And that's heading off in a southeasterly direction. I'm going to go to the Weather Services page. Some inflow. Okay, I've got no more reports there. I'm going to go to your reports on my Facebook page. This is in Oaks. Oh my gosh. I wish I could show the pictures. Remember, if you're going to upload a picture for now, tonight, I'd love to have your permission. Write in a picture, say, go ahead and use it. I will. That is a mothership moving into Oaks. You know what a mothership is, Pedro? Do you? Come on. Come on. You're a good boy. Okay, we're going to talk weather, me and Pedro. So you won't be able to see him too much, but he wants to help just a little bit. Okay, so this is Pedro, the prognosticating pup. Moving into Oaks right now was a mothership. Oh, we got a cat too. This is going to be a whole family. All right, let's take a look. Pedro says that this storm is showing some spin in and around the Oaks area just to the south. That's where the reds and greens are. And I've got pictures of what is a enormous shelf cloud and mothership type thunderstorm moving into Oaks. Thank you so much, Samantha. I appreciate you for sharing that. Let's take a look at what the velocity, or we looked at the velocity, spin south of town. Here's your mothership, the leading edge of it right here. There is some hail, it looks like, near Clement, and it's pushing into the general direction of Oaks. Here's the good news. The warning in your area continues, but if you watch the hail core, it's diminishing. So it was brighter pink out to the west here, and that hail core is diminishing. But when that happens, it could mean the hail's falling out of the storm and the wind gusts get a little stronger, right, Pedro? Yeah? Yeah. Pedro says this storm could really blow. So come on, Pedro, you can get down now. Thank you. Do you want to help Leo? Leo, the cat down here. I think the animals can feel it coming. They can sense it. They have that look in their eye. Have you ever had that? Gwinner, look at this. Boom, that quick, it's on your doorstep here. A severe thunderstorm warning for Gwinner, gusty straight line winds. It'll be interesting to see. Notice how your wind is now from the east, southeast at 20 knots. When this blast comes in, it should do an about face, and we'll see what we're getting for wind gusts there. I'll continue to look up some wind gust reports here from you, and I'm going to go check out my friends at Endon and see if they've got anything new on the wind gust front. Pun intended. Peak gusts, 10 feet high. 71 is still the peak out there for you guys in the Milner area. You're the grand champions with a 79 mile per hour gust that happened about 33 feet off the ground. Hailstorm and a rotating thunderstorm moving out of the Lisbon area now, and it's moving into the Cheyenne National Grasslands and Milner and Gwinner. Gusty straight line winds with this storm. Here's a look at the leading edge of the winds. They're right here. The leading edge of the winds With this bow, the bow tends to bend in the direction the wind is coming from. Expect very gusty northwest winds in Gwinner and Milner to be hitting soon. Some of those winds could be in excess of 60 miles per hour. The intensity of the hail is right here, and that seems to be waning just a bit, but it's still a hailer. North of Milner is where that hail threat is the greatest. So that's what I'm looking at right now as this line of thunderstorms extends through Lisbon, through Gwinner, on down to Oaks. Look at Ellendale now. You're going to join the party with a thunderstorm forming right over you. This thing is filling in right now. So here we sit, 8:30, and we've got this line of storms just back building into South Dakota. How far south will they go? We'll see. This is a heater right here moving out of southern Brown County right now. It's exited Brown County. It's in Marshall County, South Dakota right now, as it's working and meandering south of the warned area, I might add. So it's just a little bit south, making its way through rural portions north of Webster in South Dakota. Watertown, you got a storm on your doorstep out here that's continuing to meander its way off to the east. Gusty straight line winds look to be the main threat. 60 mile per hour winds and 1-inch diameter hail will be possible from that particular thunderstorm. This one up here by Bradley, though, that looks even more robust with the hail threat on there. As we take a look at some there's your hail core right there. Let's look at where it's moving. There you go. We might want to add and look at this. Look at the storm that moved out of Jamestown. You can see it now. Look at that thing. That puppy is cooking. And it's the same storm that dumped all the rain and hail in the Jamestown area that's now moving through Lisbon and heading towards Gwinner and Milner. And that is a hail core. The general trend for that hail core is to be decreasing. I like that trend. I don't know about you, but I sure do. So that's a look at that. How high are these cloud tops? Let's take a look at that. Storms that are severe oftentimes have very high cloud tops, and some of the storms with the highest cloud tops often are producing the largest hail. So what are these yellows indicative of near the Cheyenne National Grasslands? 45,000 foot cloud tops here, 45,000 foot cloud tops moving over Gwinner. Think about that, 45,000 feet. It's about 5,280 feet per mile. Okay, so about 5,000 feet. Wow. That's way up there. That's miles up there. Okay, and as you go over here, we got 45,000 foot clouds south of Clement. Those are the building ones. So these towers are pretty robust. We can look at what's building near Fargo. Okay, let me go to the Mayville radar here. All right, so these storms that are firing up near Fargo are 30,000 footers. Not as severe, but remember, we had that line that was just starting to develop that was moving down towards Enderlin. Let's loop it and see if those are building up or if these are just remnants of other storms. And it looks like the main event's going this way. This one looks like it could be just sitting here and building a little bit, deciding what it wants to do. So it's undecided. It does not look like we're filling in a solid line of 40,000 foot cloud tops here. Those are building down to the south. So this tells us a lot, folks. This tells us a lot about the direction of the most severe storms tonight. They will be building down to the south, into South Dakota tonight. If you're in Aberdeen, if you're in Hecla, if you are in Sisseton, you will have another chance at some storms tonight, this evening, as those build back down and move south and east. What about the risk of storms in places like Ada and off into west central Minnesota? These cloud tops are not high. The highest cloud tops are moving to the south and east. That leads me to believe right now that our risk of the strongest of the thunderstorms will stay well to the south of Detroit Lakes, south of Fergus Falls, but some of this activity from Sisseton and here towards the Watertown area has more of a northerly movement to it. But remember, the more north it moves, the better chance of it falling apart is. Okay, I'm going to look at the rainfall. And I'm just going to glance at this right quick and see. I see over 2 inches reported in parts of Stutsman County to 2.5 inches in southeastern Stutsman County. That's what fell in rain gauges. There may have been more than that in areas away from the rain gauges. So now you've looked at the echo tops. We've talked about rainfall amounts. I have not updated your forecast for a little bit. We have severe thunderstorms blowing into Gwinner, Milner, There is a severe thunderstorm warning for Enderlin, Sheldon, Barry, Walcott. The strongest of these storms with the hail and the rotation is here. These could be windy, okay? And the hail potential looks to be a little less to Hutch, up near the Cass County line, okay? All right. Oaks, you got a cell there. Ludden, Ellendale, cells are drifting to the south and east of your area. Forbes, same thing. These storms are just forming, but they're very slowly. See this movement, slowly drifting to the south and east for now. Let's talk about the forecast. Any questions? Here comes the rain to South Fargo. Oh, yeah. And West Fargo, too. Look at Mapleton out here. Boom. That one is intensifying a little bit. The cloud tops are not impressive with it right now, but you can certainly see a heavier band of rain forming here along this boundary. Okay, so we'll be watching it to see bright lightning and thunder in Enderlin. Thanks, Megan. Weather Service. No news is good news. Bismarck. Grain bins down in Enderlin. Marion. Marion has wind damage. We talked about that tornado possible there. The Weather Service, actually it was Endon reported the gust of wind near 70 to 80 miles per hour measured above the ground. So that's what I'm seeing now. A lot of very heavy rain on the interstate as well, causing flooding. If you missed it, check this out. You're going to want to see this. Cody Mack, speaking of our first event that happened today, we had a tornado warning up near Woodworth in northern parts of Stutzman County. Cody Mack gave me permission to use these pictures, and Cody, I really do appreciate you, and thank you for doing that. This is what Cody saw. This is no small tornado, folks. We're fortunate it happened out in rural portions of Stutzman County, but that is like a stovepipe, right? That is a very large tornado. Not only do you have this tornado coming from this wall cloud, this is a wall cloud right here. It's a lowering of the cloud base. The cloud base is the dark gray thing up higher, so it's probably up above my hand, okay? This wall cloud produced that, touching the ground. It got rain wrapped, according to Cody. But look at this. This was another lowering of the cloud base. Sometimes these puppies just kind of one forms and another one forms next to it. Amazing photo, Cody. Thank you for sharing. Let me show you more. How about this one? This is from a cell phone, but you can still see how wide that puppy was. Stutzman County, rural Woodworth. Cody, thank you. I think I have another one to share with you. Here's what it looked like. A little closer. Again, wall cloud. New developing wall cloud maybe. And a tornado that was getting more wrapped in rain, which can make them impossible to see. This is what it looked like as the storms were developing. Towering cumulonimbus clouds. Rain-free base. That's what you look for. Rain-free base. That's the updraft part of the storm. That's where the rotation can come in. And that lowering right there, that lowering is called a wall cloud. That's likely where Cody saw his tornado, or somewhere near there. Amazing. So thank you, Cody, for sharing that. Confirmed tornado was on the ground in the Fort Ransom area. We did get some damage reported in the Marion area, along with some wind gusts that exceeded 70 miles per hour. Those storms are now blowing towards Gwinner, through Gwinner now. Very heavy rain in Gwinner. The hail risk is not huge in Gwinner. It looks like it's a little bigger just north of Milner, where the pink is in the grasslands. We've been talking about that in the last couple scans. Pardon me, I forgot to put the radar up, so I'll do that right now. All right. Thanks, Don. Thanks, Alex. And thanks, Natasha. learning some things and talking weather and keeping people safe. That's what we do. Good news. Tornado warning expired. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for this whole area in orange. Milner, Gwinner, Foreman. Storms are mainly going to be a wind threat right now. Even the hail looks like it's winding down a bit, but I would still bet a little over 1 inch diameter hail. Let's see what this says. 1.75 inch hail. That's golf balls. So still has some potential for some big hail. Still moving into Gwinner. How about the hail on that one? Let's look at that. Here's this little puppy. This one says 1 inch hail. So moving into Gwinner, a little bit smaller hail. The larger hail's up near the grasslands, heading towards Windmere. You can see the track of this storm, by the way. The cone, the most likely path is along the white line near Windmere. You're in the warning too, Windmere, so it's going to be punching into Richland County here shortly. The warning does include the areas along Highway 46 here, where we do have the fine folks on the county line, okay? So that area is Enderlin, Coburn, Leonard, very dark. Developing storm that's nearly stationary near West Fargo right now. You see that? Mapleton? Look at that. There you go. Look at that thing. That's going to make some hail. I wonder if the cloud tops are rising higher on that one. Let's take a look. Looks like the Weather Service has just put out a new statement on these storms. Cloud tops are not amazing on it. Let's see right here. 36,000 feet. It's a growing kid. Raining West Fargo. I'm not anticipating a severe thunderstorm in Fargo right now, but look at these cells outside of town. Those cloud tops are getting higher now. So 40,000 footers. I'm going to take that back. These cells, let's see which way they're moving, could impact Fargo, Wheatland, Amenia, Durbin, and Horace. I'm going to zoom these. What you're looking at, the colors here are cloud tops. The higher ones are in yellow. A couple of these cells, including the ones forming near Fargo, are starting to rise up into the atmosphere to 40,000 feet. So these storms here could be quite strong. They're over the Buffalo and Emden area right now. There could be some hail with these storms right now, upwards of nickel, would be my estimate. Okay. And then as we look down to the south, you could see the real towering storms in the orange, this deep orange color. Look how high those cloud tops are. Okay, we're talking 50,000 footers. Those are miles and miles up into the atmosphere. Oaks, you got a 45 to 50,000 footer coming in towards your area as well. That's a look. We got a huge area of severe thunderstorm warning for southeast North Dakota. Lisbon, the storm warning continues for you. The warning for the tornado warning is done. Rain and thunder reported South Fargo, Davies High School. Thanks, Tabitha. I appreciate you. What an interesting moment. Constant rumbling and then a train whistle. Yeah, Megan, that would almost be a little on the weird side. Today I heard a vacuum cleaner and I thought it was the sirens in the distance. So that's how we get on edge sometimes when weather comes through. Ortonville. Look at these towering storms. You want to know how tall these red ones are? Those are 55,000 feet near Millbank. Those are big brothers right there. And those towering clouds are enormous. Look at this Badger storm near Brookings. You see the pink? That's 58,000 feet. 58,000 feet above the ground on that particular storm, estimated by the Doppler radar. So, yeah, those are some towering storms. These monster tall storms that are over 50,000 feet are moving more northeasterly. Benson and Morris, you're in the path of these storms. If you're in Alexandria, though, most of the storms that have gone through Alexandria north have dwindled down in height. So if you watch a loop of the last hour or so, you will see that the storms moving up north have generally stayed a little lower than these ones down to the south. Let's hope that trend continues. I appreciate you, Carol. Crazy lightning and big wall cloud, West Fargo. Tommy, thank you. You got a picture. If you're seeing it and if you snap the picture, put her right up on this stream right now. I'm going to look at my other streams. Thanks for my viewers up here. And look at all of this activity on the YouTube channel. Hey, YouTube, it's good to see you. See a shelf cloud in Horace. Thanks, Danny. Nothing yet in North Moorhead. Cash Carson says a huge shelf cloud West Fargo. Let's throw a picture up here or either there in my Facebook post. And Hutch has great news for you. Hutch's weather's growing, and I've got just exciting news. I cannot wait to share it. It's coming. It's coming very fast. Okay, joining in Trail County. Reports from you, torrential rain, pitch black, pea hail, Gwinner now. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you. On YouTube, if you have not done it yet, I appreciate the follow, but more so, I appreciate the likes on the video. That sure does help. Thank you so very much. South Dakota, you watching? Brookings, look at these cloud top heights out here. Look at this warning for this 60,000 foot cloud top. Tornado possible, it says. I'll go to the latest, closest radar to you. And as we look at that, we're going to go in and we're going to look at the reflectivity. Look at this puppy moving through the Esteline area, Dempster, moving east. Generally a straight easter movement towards Toronto, heading towards Hendricks. Asking about Sioux Falls, we got a Chamberlain storm that's moving out towards Kimball. Plankton right along the 90 corridor there. That's a long ways out. That's a long ways out. Tornado warning, parts of you folks in Nebraska here. This is by Broken Bow. Going here, radar indicated tornado. We can see that there's not a lot of pinks in the display. I'm not too awful worried with this kind of a look at huge hail. In fact, the Weather Service says 3/4 inch diameter hail. But the spin is there with that particular storm. So if you're in the path of this storm in central parts of, Nebraska, please seek shelter, interior room. Stay away from windows. Looking to the south, not as much severe weather as we saw earlier in the night. South of Amarillo, we do have one tornado warning. The Silverton storm has been here for an awful long time. Baseball-sized hail, folks. That's some serious hail. This one continues to have a hook right here. That's why we got the tornado warning. It is a Doppler radar observed tornado. I'm going to turn on a look at storm reports from across the nation. And then we're going to look at the forecast here together so you can get timing in your area of where these things are going to go. Jacob says a twister in Sheldon. Jacob, I don't have any confirmation of that. Let me go ahead and pop up the view. Be in your safe place in Sheldon. Yep, the National Weather Service, I'm just perusing data here, and locally here, I'm not seeing any reports of that, of a twister in town. I do have some awesome pictures from you. I think I'm going to start sharing a couple of these with your permission. I'll just ask you. Looking I-94 by Catalyst. Okay, yep. Yeah, we got some low clouds. That is a shelf cloud rolling in for you, Deb. Thank you for the photo. Samantha captures a mothership video, and I can't believe this thing. I mean, this supercell thunderstorm has a shelf cloud. It's got a Boeing shape to it, and it's just like, it looks like a mothership from outer space. Samantha, thank you. I'd love to share that online if I had your permission in the note. What do we got here? Storm passed south of Jamestown. This was at 8:42, and oh my goodness. Preston, I'm going to ask you, Preston, right now. I need to ask you permission to share it. You can actually see the whole storm rotating. Preston, if you're watching, thank you for your upload. Thank all of you for the uploads because it gives me feedback. I'd love to share this on the live. I'm waiting for your reply. West Fargo, I see that you've got low clouds. That cloud that I see in West Fargo is not attached to the parent thunderstorm, so that would not be a shelf cloud. That's called a roll cloud. Those are associated with the gust front blowing out. Tommy says I can share. Here's a look. Tommy, tell me where you're at again. Oh, let me see. I can look up here. No, I can't. Thank you so much. All right, let's do it. I'm going to share Tommy's photo right now. Tommy's sharing a view from West Fargo. Some scary looking clouds, and this is a detached thunderstorm. Here we go. Let's go with the, sorry, screen left. Here we go. West Fargo. Here we go. This is real time, folks. You're sharing with me. I'm sharing with you. Tommy, Knack, thank you. So what you're looking at here is a storm cloud. This area right here is, whoops, I don't know why it keeps closing. This area here is not attached to the main storm. So I would call that a roll cloud rolling out ahead of front. It's associated with the gust front, and it's really cool. Tommy, thank you for your permission. Preston, oh my gosh. Okay, Preston, check this out. Storm north of Valley City. Do you all see this nonsense? Look at that curly swirly cue. Look at the huge rain outpouring. That is so awesome. This is spinning right here. You can just see it. It's spinning. Thank you, Preston. This was earlier, by the way. Thank you. And then he had a time lapse. Are you kidding me? I'm never patient enough to make a time lapse. You're going to see a mothership here, and this is cool. It's only a minute long. Let's see if I can make it more bigger. I can't. So this might be the best I can do on this particular view. Just watch it with me down here. See the swirling? So this whole thunderstorm is swirling. And down here, see the clouds moving from right to left? And these clouds moving from what? Left to right? The whole storm is spinning. This is a storm that passed south of Jamestown, and it is absolutely stunning. Look at it. You could just see a corkscrew taking place right in front of you. Look at all the dark stuff going on underneath there. Low clouds, lightning lighting up the sky. What an amazing time lapse. Preston, thank you so very, very much for allowing me to share that. This, again, south of Jamestown, spinning like a top. Look at that little lowering of the cloud base. Those are called wall clouds. Those lowering of the cloud base areas can sometimes produce tornadoes. Now it's becoming more of a shelf-like structure. This one's a shelf cloud because it's attached to the parent thunderstorm, whereas the other one I just showed you was what we would call I would call it a roll cloud coming out of the storm, rolling out ahead of it, detached from the parent thunderstorm that's a few miles back off to the backside of that storm. Jennifer sent a photo just outside of Lisbon 30 minutes ago. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Lisbon, you had some crazy weather. I have permission to share. Thank you. Thank you so much. Check out this. Outside of Lisbon, huge dark clouds, big, huge storm, lowering cloud bases in places, and it looked green. Have you ever noticed that? This skyline looks green. Different things are said to cause that, but definitely it is associated with storms that are more capable of producing hail from storms. Thank you so very, very much for sharing your photos. Tyler sent photos. I have permission to share from Jennifer, so I'm going to pop this up real quick. Horus. Okay, so here we've got this little shelfy looking cloud. Okay, it's long, it's skinny. It looks like it might be detached from the main thunderstorm cloud, which is up here. Okay, but there's a lowering of it. So is that a tornado, a funnel cloud? No, but it's sure fun to look at. And it does signify that the storm coming towards Fargo and West Fargo right now, it has some gusty winds that are surging out and creating that cloud. Okay, Emmett, thanks. If I have permission, make sure you put in the note there that I have permission to share, because I do not want to take other people's work. I'm not about that. What I am about is preparing people and letting people know what's coming your way with regard to these storms. We wandered all the way down to Texas. I do have a couple of storms down in Shreveport I'm going to finish up with. We're going to get back into the Fargo area right now. Here's the radar. This is a look at Shreveport, Louisiana, and Henderson, Texas. We got severe thunderstorms there, 3/4 inch diameter hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds from it. Here's what the radar looks like in your area down in the parishes of northwestern Louisiana. Look at this. This is Logansport right here on the state line. That is a Boeing storm right there. That could have some pretty gusty winds. That's warned for. That storm is likely going to be capable of some ridiculous wind speeds there. 60 mile per hour would be my guess, and that's what it says here. 60 mile per hour, 3/4 inch diameter hail, and there you have it. So we do have severe storms. I'm hearing thunder in Moorhead. The frequency and the widespread nature of these storms is decreasing. That's a good sign. Fargo, what's coming into Fargo? Thanks for your support. Yep, you got my permission, says Emmett. Oh, double rainbow. You know what? Even when we have the worst of weather, we get shots like this. Emmett, I'd love to know where you took that from. Just pop that in the comments here. I'm going to pop your awesome shot up right now. Look at that. That is a look at not one, but two rainbows. Beautiful shot there. Thank you so much, 901. Sunset taken. Mapleton. Carrie, if I have your permission, put a note in there. Otherwise, I'm not going to show it. But essentially, thanks for all of your reports. Now let's get to the radar in Fargo, and then we're going to do the forecast right quick. Whew, what a day. This blue box is a update from the National Weather Service. The update from the National Weather Service shows that, well, essentially we have some strong storms forming in the area. I will go ahead and put the text up. This expires in a few minutes. 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts will be possible. The storms are moving east at 20 miles per hour. So, lawn furniture, your trampolines, small dogs. Pedro, did you hear that? Small dogs. Being serious now. Gusty straight-line winds are the main threat from this line of storms. Let's get to the latest radar in our area. Here we go. Thanks, Brittany, for sharing a photo, too. I'm looking at them as they're coming in here, watching for important information. The storm moving into Riley's Acres. Now, look at this. It's just a constant line that isn't moving at all. Let's loop this. Filling in and staying put. It's going to slowly progress to the south and east. Most of Fargo-Moorhead is going to get inundated with some pretty serious rain from this. There could be some hail with a few of these areas, but it looks like the hail is pulsing up and down in different spots. See this little pink cell here? Bloop, bloop, kind of moved up towards Riley's Acres. You might be getting some hail there. Emden, showers and storms. Enderlin, Leonard, showers and storms. What about shear or spin in the clouds? Let's look for that, because I did get a report in this area of some spin. This area here, greens next to reds, that's shear. There's no question about it. There's some weak spin in the atmosphere not far from Leonard along the leading edge of this almost stationary line of storms. Okay. Brittany Ann shares this. After the storm. Gosh, what a shot. Thanks so much. Beauty after the storm. And some wave clouds. Kind of a wavy structure to them. Behind the house roof here, that's either a roll cloud. I think it's a roll cloud. It's detached from the main thunderstorm. So that's what I would call it. Beautiful clouds moving into West Fargo. Ominous. But for us, fortunate enough, not severe. Cindy, if you want, please let me know if I can share yours on my live broadcast. I will take your permission. If you give me permission, I'll show it. And that goes for anybody sharing a photo. Just make sure you type in there, you have my permission to share on your broadcast. That helps me out. Radar, back to that. And then forecast. We got to look at the latest forecast. We do have a little bit of shear and spin in these storms, as we talked about last night. These storms are going to kind of drift down to the south and east. These ones, oddly enough, are moving north and east through Barnesville. So Barnesville, you got some showers and thunderstorms. Strongest storm right now in the warned area is heading right into Windmere. This is a very gusty line of storms here. The potential for these still remains to be 60-mile-per-hour winds. We cannot rule out a tornado. It says it's possible. Sometimes severe thunderstorms can produce tornadoes. Your winds in Gwinner, I don't know if that's right. I'm not going to go with that. Okay. Your winds in Windmere and Gwinner, generally ahead of the storm, are going to be from this southerly direction or southeasterly direction. And then this stuff coming at you, your wind's going to switcheroo. It's going to become westerly or northwesterly. Moving into the Windmere area, we have some 1-inch diameter hail potential. We do have some potential for hail that says the hail probability is 100%. But the risk of severe hail is only 60%. So the hail risk with this storm is diminishing a little bit. Remember, it was moving through the grasslands here. That's where the largest hail was. And if I loop it, you can see where the bright pink spots were, and they're spreading out and thinning out a little bit. And we got the backward C shape again, the dreaded backward C or bow echo, that bow echo indicating a line of storms that could definitely bring you some winds from the north and west. As you look in Windmere, Cayuga, Rutland, your wind may be more northerly from the storms. Again, hail, possibly up to 1 inch, gusty straight line winds, and we definitely have strong thunderstorms in and along the South Dakota border there, not too far from you in Ellendale and south of Oaks, moving down towards Hecla. So this is where it is now. It's 9:08. Let's look at the forecast. We've done this a couple times. I'll do this. Emily Maddock, if I have permission to use your photo, please type it and say you have permission to use it in your broadcast, and I'll share it. Lexi, thank you for permission. Wow, look at this cloud wall from West Fargo. Look at that little lowering cloud there. That little looks like a wall cloud. That is actually called, pardon me, it's detached from the main thunderstorm. Let me show it to you. Sorry about that. So this is detached from the parent thunderstorm, but that is actually, if I get out of the way just a little bit. So that's detached from the thunderstorm base, which is up here. So this is a roll cloud. It kind of comes rolling in and it rolls along with the gust front. Problem with this particular storm is it's not moving towards us too quickly. So this little cigar-shaped cloud here may linger in that area for just a little while. Thanks, another view of it right here. So that's a roll cloud caused by the outflow from the thunderstorm. Okay, really cool stuff. Cold pools of air spilling out of the storm causes the warm air in town to lift, and it makes this fun cloud. Beautiful shots, and I really do appreciate Lexi's sharing of the photo. Cindy, thank you for allowing me to share. This is west of Gwinner, and yes, I may share this video. Okay, this won't be very big because I cannot make it bigger for some reason. But what we can see out to the west of Gwinner as the storm approaches, like that mothership we were talking about, that's a Shelfie McShelferson right there because it's attached to the parent thunderstorm back here. That's a shelf cloud, and that is associated with the huge rotating mothership of a thunderstorm. Cindy, great capture. Thank you for sharing. Teresa sent a photo. If I can share it, let me know. I can share Carrie's photo. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. Beautiful shot here. Setting sun, thunderstorm in the distance. Beautiful shot. This is Mapleton just now. Gorgeous. Thank you. Samantha sharing some ominous looking Oaks skies. Oaks, remember, that was a kind of a standalone storm out there. Look at this big old bugger right here. That's attached to the parent thunderstorm up above it. I love the angle of this shot too. Kind of, it's not standard, right? There's the base of the thunderstorm. This cloud is attached to the thunderstorm. That's a Shelfie McShelferson cloud right there. That's what Hutch would call that one. And let's take a look. You've got a video here. Thank you so much, Samantha. Let's take a look at the video. It's a little bit far down on the screen. Let's see if I can move it up. That's me. Okay, let me see if I can move this up. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, do a little trickery here. You like trickery? Okay, this again, Samantha Carmichael, thank you for sharing. This is a clip of the mothership. That is a Shelfie McShelferson cloud. These lowering little fragments down there can sometimes be, well, not necessarily always a wall cloud, but anytime you see a lowering of a cloud base, that can be a little ominous. Beautiful shot there. That is the storm approached Oaks. Thank you so much. Thanks, Teresa. This is over Enderlin. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that huge full rainbow. Very bright on the inside of the rainbow, an optical effect. And you can see this faint secondary rainbow in there too. Beautiful shots. Okay, radar. Now, storms, severe, southeast North Dakota, gusty straight line winds and hail. There is a line from Enderlin into Fargo-Moorhead, particularly the west part of town now, that is very slowly moving. This one has taken an hour to develop right here, and it's just sitting here. And it's now going to slowly start moving through the FM area. You're going to get heavy rain in Fargo, North Fargo now, South Fargo soon, Horace a little later, and it does look like we got some rain in and around the FM area, including Fargo and Moorhead. Felton, you might be seeing some showers. Craignas seeing some showers. Not severe, not expected to be severe. The hail potential with the storm moving down into Richland County here is real. It still continues to be about an inch, as you can see here, and it's moving in the general direction of Hankinson. But look at this monster. It's moving the other way. What's going to happen when they collide? These storms can sometimes interfere with each other, or sometimes they can enhance each other. Okay, so there can be a destructive storm force from these things colliding, or they can start to merge and conglomerate a little bit. We'll see what happens. My guess is, since we've got this moving up this way, kind of warm frontish, this is cold frontish, we might even get an area of some stronger development and spin on the south side of the merger point. This is also a backward C shape moving in towards Ledger Wood, which still indicates some very gusty straight line wind potential that's blown out of Gwinner. Wonder what your Gwinner wind speeds were as the storm blew through. Did you notice anything? Let me look at your comments again. Thank you so very much for sharing your reports on Hutch's weather. Here I'm looking also on my YouTube channel and trying to keep up with your feedback there. What about Morris, Minnesota, north of Morris? Yep, let's go there right now. Thanks for your question. I want to be as responsive as I can. So Morris, what we're seeing out in your area here is some thunderstorms down by Benson. North of Morris, you see Elbow Lake in Grant County. These storms are pulsing up, briefly producing hail and collapsing. This cell right here is moving. It looked like it was moving more north towards Morris, but now it's moving more east. That's a big shift, okay? So your risk of storms, you may skirt between them in Morris. And just north of Morris, Donley and on up towards Herman in Grant County, these storms are moving away from you. That's what's going on. Raining hard in North Fargo. You betcha it is. Thanks, Allie. Appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your picks, everyone. I appreciate it too. Constant thunder south of Lidgerwood. Lowering from shelf cloud could be anything, question mark. Shelf clouds, they have that scoop look to them, and sometimes they have fingers lowering. You know what that is? When a shelf cloud comes, it's caused by cold, dense air blowing out of the hail shaft and rain shaft. It's a rain-cooled air. That rain-cooled air moving out this way causes the hot air over us to rise up, and what you're seeing is this lowering fingers of cloud, inflow clouds. They're not always wall clouds. So those finger-shaped ones are usually just the inflow or feeder bands. Thanks. Stay wheezy. I'm wheezy right now. All right, Brad, good to have you on board. It's real wet here in West Fargo. Real wet indeed. Looks like I got a tornado warning to share. Good golly, Miss Molly. Here we go. Hankinson, tornado warning. Mantador, tornado warning. Weinmer, tornado warning. Let's go over the specifics of this storm. It's this storm up here. It's the one that I talked about that had this mesoscale convective complex feature to it, that little center. It's forming its own rotation. This is the one that you're all taking pictures of with the mothership working its way towards Weinmer now. That's where the rotation likely is. Let me go to the velocity here and I'll show you. So right in the crook here, right towards Weinmer. You see this? We got the spin here. Let's go back just a little bit farther. And we got spin along this whole line. This is an outflow. This is that mothership arm you're seeing come in. And then the leading edge is inflow going into the storm. And anywhere along here, we could have a spin up. Let's see what this says. It's a radar indicated tornado, so we don't have confirmation yet. If you're in the path of this storm, you need to seek shelter in your sturdy place. The sturdy place is going to be not a mobile home, a manufactured home. You don't want to be at the lake. If you're at the lake in a camper, get out of that and get into something more sturdy. You have a bit of time now in certain areas. This storm, pardon me, is moving east at 30 miles per hour. So that's where it is. Let's take a look at your latest radar. There is some hail potential with the storm as well. We got a couple different radars we can choose. I like maybe the Aberdeen one. It's likely closer, and that's the one we're looking at here. The Aberdeen radar is showing that the rotation is right here, where the reds are next to the greens. So here we go. And I hear rumbles of thunder. And when the thunder's rumbling, when there's lightning outside, you should go on in. That's a good idea. Get inside. This storm is spinning. It's making its way off to the southeast. The National Weather Service thing just said it's moving east. Let's take another look at this. I want to verify the direction of movement. Wow. It's just developing in this area. Do you see this little gray area in your Mantador? Okay. The main spin is up here near Weinmer. If you're in Weinmer, if you're in Barney, this rotation is right over your area right now. It's a good idea to seek shelter in a sturdy structure in the lowest floor. You want to get as low as you can. Basements are best because you're below the level of the flying debris. You also want to put as many walls between you and the rotation as you possibly can, okay? 9:17 is the current time. This warning is in effect. I'll read it to you one more time. We'll go over those details. 9:45. That's quite a ways yet, about a half hour. Richland County. Located near Wyndmere is the tornado, moving east at 30 miles per hour. I'm going to look at that more closely with you here now. The rain is really starting to come down hard in Fargo now. Thank you for your report. Thanks all of you for watching on the YouTube side, on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you like the video. That does help me out a lot. And if you have yet to subscribe, please subscribe. Thanks a bunch. Now let's cover storms. Moving into Fargo, but now an active tornado warning continues for our viewers in Wyndmere. It's just been issued by the National Weather Service. Taking a look at the reflectivity data, I just want to get a better idea of the movement of this storm. I think it's more southeast than due east. This is that merger we were just talking about right here. Here is the area of rotation. It's east-southeast. Do you see this 2 symbol? That's 2-inch diameter hail moving in your area, and it's moving southeast. And let's see about the speed now. According to this latest scan, it's about east-southeast at 22 miles per hour. So here we got it. It's moving east-southeast. It's moving right into Wyndmere now. If you're in Wyndmere, you should be in your safe place now. Get out of mobile homes, manufactured homes, to a more sturdy structure. You don't have time. This is moving into your area about 22 miles per hour. The rotation is right over the Wyndmere area as we speak. Here it is. Here's the track of motion. It is from Matador. The rotation is only about 12.5 to 13 miles away. Now, as we time this out, the rotating part of the thunderstorm is right here. It's moving into Wyndmere now, momentarily. Moving southeast, I'm going to put 25 miles per hour on this. Why? Because there's a little delay in my broadcast between the time I'm making it and the time you might see it on any of your devices, mobile or otherwise. It's as close to live as I can get. Wyndmere, 9 minutes. So the rotating part of the storm is over you now and will continue to be over you for at least the next 10 minutes or more. It's on towards Moselle by around 15 minutes from now. 15 minutes from now would put this at about, 35 after. Okay, and it gets into the Matador area about 32 minutes from now. So we're going to be pushing about 10 to 10 here with this line of storms and an active tornado warning. If you happen to miss Hutch's weather throughout the week, well, first of all, I just want to welcome you and thank you for putting your trust in me to watch the weather for you. But secondly, I want you to know that there was spin in the atmosphere that we saw. But what we didn't know today was how our clouds and showers and thunderstorms this morning would interfere with our risk for severe storms. We've had more tornado warnings, and we've had some images shared with us from a couple of these storms of some pretty stout tornadoes. Raining hard in Fargo. Let's get to Fargo here in a second. Again, this severe thunderstorm is merging with another one. It's going to be very interesting to see how these two gel and merge together. But this tornadic storm is right now right over Wyndmere, right over Highway 13. There's strong rotation evident on the Doppler radar. I'm going to look at my Weather Service link and see what they're sharing with regards to messaging. Not seeing much from them. I'm going to check the Bismarck messaging. There's been some counties removed from the severe thunderstorm watch. We've been talking about all but done in some of those areas. So again, the Grand Forks area, severe thunderstorms warning, Wyndmere. It's moving east-southeast. Barney, you are in it. Morton, you're right near it. This thing may shift direction a little bit as it merges with this particular storm. It's going to be difficult to predict exactly how those are going to transpire. I was going to go right to your forecast. I'm not now. There's a tornado warning. So we're going to go right with the latest data on this. I'm going to stop the loop. I'm going to go ahead and look at the storm relative velocity and look at where the spin is. From the radar in Aberdeen, South Dakota, not in Mayville, Aberdeen, what you're looking at here, and it's important to know which radar you're looking at, is some pretty unorganized rotation. There is a lot of outbound wind here, and some inbound wind here. So this rotation is near the Wyndmere area. It's fairly weak right here. This is a rolling of the air. The top air is moving away from the radar. This is closer to the ground air. It's moving away. The green is moving towards, I should say. I made a mistake there. My apologies. We do have some areas where we have reds and greens next to each other, but the area of concern is right here over Wyndmere right now. Not sure what you're seeing. I'm going right to your feedback right now. Let's see what we got. How do I send a picture of the weather? Michael, you can send a picture of the weather for now right here on this feed. So just upload it to this feed if it will let you. If not, you can send it through Messenger, and I've been from time to time checking Messenger readings. I'm looking at some of these, the feed right now. Let's see. Jeremy says, what a bust for the Fargo area. Let me tell you something, Jeremy. I appreciate your feedback here, but if there is a slight risk area for a third of the nation's midsection, it doesn't mean every town is going to have that severe weather. So please keep that in mind. I'm not chastising you in any way. We didn't get anything super severe here, and we likely won't in the Fargo-Moorhead area. There are strong storms outside of us, but we've had multiple tornado warnings. This is not a bust, and I can't emphasize, and it's my communication. It's not your fault. It's my communication. Everybody, when there is a slight risk of severe storms, is not going to get the severe weather. Everybody's not going to get it. So Fargo may get missed. Castleton might get hit. Felton might get missed. That's the nature of thunderstorms. So thank you for that, but I argue with you that it's not a bust for anybody in our area. It's not. We've had severe thunderstorms for the better part of the day. Not a bust. My opinion. Thank you for your feedback, though. Check out Wyndmere. Here we got the spin is now moving to the southeast, south of Barrie. This is the area of spin that we're watching. It's still there. It's still evident. And it's moving south of Highway 13. This does not mean the risk is over in Wyndmere. Let me know if you're in Wyndmere, what you hear and see. If you happen to have a report, please share it with me and I'll pass it along to the Weather Service office. I'm looking at reports as I speak. Okay, here's West Fargo. Let me share a video with you. This is from Riley. Thank you, Riley, for sharing. This is the West Fargo area. And again, see if I can move this around just a little bit so you can see thunder and lightning. And there's some low clouds out there, but everything is starting to get started out there in the area of West Fargo. So some heavy areas of rain moving into west. You can hear the thunder and lightning. The rotating thunderstorms are to the south. Our risk right now of severe weather in Fargo is quite low. It's a lot higher down to the south. Thank you, Riley, for sharing. Now I'm going to switch back to the radar because we have stuff going on. Okay, so here is our rotating storm. It is still showing signs of rotation. It's right over Moselle. If you're in Moselle, the rotation is right over your area. This doesn't mean that this is where a rotation would be hitting the ground. It's a Doppler indicated tornado, so the chances of a tornado are enhanced here. Quite good. Does not mean we've seen one yet. I haven't seen that report yet. Looking at other reports here. Yeah, thanks, Mandy, for sharing that video of the I-94 flooding. I've heard about that. And oh my goodness, what in the world is this? Oh, that was May. I thought I saw snow. I did. That was from May. Barney, North Dakota. Curious if there's a concern for a tornado. In the Barney area, I think the risk is lowering as the storms are moving to the south and east of Barney. It's really close to you. You are in the tornado warning. But here's the rotation. So with any luck at all, it continues its southeasterly trajectory, but that means the folks in Mentor are in bad shape. You're in the tornado warning. I would prefer, if it was my family, to be in that safe place, in that shelter, staying away from windows. This is dangerously close to you. I can measure exactly how far it is away from Barney. That circulation is right here. and that is only 4 miles away from town. That's not too far. I don't think it's going to move back up towards Barney, but this is where the rotation is now. Please seek shelter. It's close enough to you. It's a good idea. So thank you for the question. That probably clears up a question for someone else. There are no bad questions when it comes to Hutch's weather. Looking at other posts. Moderate heavy rain, thunder, lightning, West Fargo. Thank you so much. I appreciate the report, Tracy. Now let's take a look at what we're seeing with regards to, I do have a couple of cameras out in Barnes County from the DOT. Let me see what I got. Excuse me, Richland County, where the tornado warning is. So let's go ahead and sneak down here. This is not far from the affected area. Here's Barney. Here's Morton. Let's see if we can look at a south direction here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I can see stuff. Okay. This is a very low cloud base right here. And that is the storm. Has that, we can't see the whole cloud, but it has that mothership feel to it. It's low, it's scraping the ground, and that's the storm. So we can see it from Highway 13 near Morton. We're looking at different views of all the clouds around, and then we get the good old street view there, which is important for covering the rain. Foreman area, this is what we're seeing in Foreman. Very heavy rain, inundated fields, and more inundated fields out there as we've just gotten walloped with another dose of heavy rain. That's all I got for cameras right now in the area. If you have videos, that does help. What about, let's see. Oh, a video from Tracy. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now, let's take a look at the Weather Service one more time and see if we've gotten any. Nope, no more updates. You know, sometimes no news is good news when it comes to these storms, but these are not super populated areas. Winemere towards Mantador, we're worried, but the Barney area here definitely has a little bit of spin or shear not far from you. So it was just asked if it was going to hit Barney. It's not highly likely. You are in the tornado warning area, and I'd like for you to be seeking shelter as well. This whole area, this red and green next to you, right by Barney, if that just moves straight east, we're not in good shape here. So I'd rather have you practice caution and seek shelter. There's some shear right here and spin in the storm as well. So this storm showing indications of some tight rotation. How about the hail? It's still there. And this indication was on the last scan that I have of 2-inch diameter hail near Winemere. Look at that. Are you seeing hail in Winemere? My goodness. Here's a look at the radar description. 100% chance of severe hail, 2-inch diameter hail. That's damaging hail for sure. So you have time to park the vehicle in the garage. Winemere, it's pretty much right on top of you. There's another hail batch making its way out this way, out towards Mantador right now. And this little notch right here, that is the area of spin. That's one of them. That's not far from Barry. Here's what's making this all confusing, and I'm not going to lie. This storm is a separate storm that was moving north, and it's getting sucked into this one. Do you remember that? Let's take a look. Here it is. It's rotating. So that storm was separate. It was down here, moving this way, and boom, now it's merging with this line. So there's going to be an interaction here. We'll just see how it fares. You were asking if Barney was safe. This storm is moving right towards you, but this one is moving southeast. That might add some more spin right in this area. This whole area is under a tornado warning right now. That warning is in effect. Mantador, you are definitely in the path of the tornado and the tornado warning. And so you all should be seeking shelter in Mantador right now. The best look at the velocity here is showing, well, there's a couple areas. It's cluttered because we got two storms kind of merging here. Still pretty strong shear right outside of Winemere right here. There's some evidence of shear there. And I'm still seeing some evidence of shear not far from the Barney area here as you look at right up in there. So seeking shelter is the thing to do. Morton, you are not in the tornado warning, but you're awful close. I'll continue to track it for you right here on Hutch's Weather. Fargo-Moorhead area, I'm going to pop up the radar here and we're going to take a quick gander at what's going on. Look at this. Remember that line that was forming here that was getting ready to move through? It looked so robust moments ago, and it stayed put, and now it's drifting over Fargo, but really it's just raining out. That's what's going on up here too in northern Richland County. There is a warning for your area. There is some spin in the air. Kindred, where we do have some spin and rotation in the air. But those storms are moving east along the county line right now, and the rain is very heavy. So that's what we have going on in northern parts of Richland County. Severe thunderstorm warning for you. We do have the tornado warning continuing in central parts of Richland County as two storms, as we've been discussing, have merged over this area. And we got this, I called this a mesoscale convective complex, or maybe vortex if it continues to develop here or whatever. What would a vortex mean? It would actually mean we would be able to see this whole cluster of thunderstorms rotating around an area of lowered pressure caused by the storms themselves. And they're pretty unbelievable, and they're pretty interesting to study. But as you look at this, you also have it merging with this other line of storms here. So where these go likely will be where? Do you want to see the forecast now? I know that many of you do. I'm looking at some more feedback I'm getting from viewers here, so pardon me while I take a peek to the sky. All right. Okay. We're going to look quickly at the forecast. Fargo, Morris, Benson. We got storms rumbling out towards Benson right now. One of them is severe, moving into Benson. So if you're in Benson, get ready for some 1 inch or greater hail, moving right along and to the north of Highway 12, moving towards Benson right now. Is there rotation in these cells? Let me go ahead and pull up the warning, and I'll get the latest, closest radar. 1 1/4 inch diameter hail, moving towards Clontarf and the highway corridor there near Highway 9, County 9 it looks like. Okay, so here is a look at that storm cell. Is it rotating? Let's get a quick look at the velocity on that particular thunderstorm cluster. Strong winds, pretty unidirectional. The radar here is coming from Minneapolis, and that radar is a long ways away. There is some spin or shear in the atmosphere near Danvers and maybe out by Fairfield. That storm does have some very strong outflow right over here, and that storm is moving towards Benson. Is there dangerous wind shear with that one? It doesn't look like it. $50 sized hail is possible with it, though, as we continue to monitor that storm, because I know I had some viewers asking about the Morris-Benson area. There you go. That's what we have going on for that area. All right, back to the reflectivity, back to the radar display. And I hear rumbles in and around the Fargo area. We got also for you folks in Wahpeton, Breckenridge. Let's get to this radar right here. How about that forecast? I'm itching to go to it, but this is a tornado warning, so we may just stick with it. This one here, my gut tells me is moving east-southeast. Morton, you're going to be in the path of this tornado warning. This backwards C shape moving towards Mantador. This looks more like it's going to be an outflow. It'll be interesting, but there could be some very, very gusty straight line winds with this flow. This would be coming from the west. So your winds will be west northwesterly in Mantador and quite strong. And we do have some hail core up here along the Highway 13 corridor, Winemere towards Barney. Those areas could be seeing some significant hail, upwards of 1 to 1 1/4 inch in diameter, the way it looks at the latest scan. Okay, now, do any models have this correct? Let's take a quick peek. We're not going to get away from the tornado coverage for long. Here's the latest model. Excuse me. Going back 1 hour. Okay, here we go. We're at 9:36. We're covering storms. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson, and thanks for sticking with me here as we watch storms work their way through southeast North Dakota, northeast South Dakota, west central Minnesota. This model appears to have the majority of the cluster of storms that are in our area as we cross into the 10 o'clock hour. Here is a look at the 10 o'clock hour, and there you go. There is a look at where the storms are supposed to be at the 10 o'clock hour. We're pretty close. They might be a little bit too far advanced. Notice how, as we go through the evening hours tonight towards midnight, here's midnight, it's all out of the Red River Valley and we're done. The watch lasts until 10 o'clock for the next 23 minutes. Then the watch is over. But we have a tornado warning, right? And we have a very gusty straight line wind producing storm right here that is expected to go here. Where is that? I might ask. That's Otter Tail County. So if you're in southern Otter Tail County, Grant County, this storm is expected by this model to move towards you. Storms from the Morris and Benson area will continue out towards maybe Little Falls and out towards the Brainerd Lakes area. And then the energy, at least in the northern fringe of these storms, tapers off. These southern banders here may have a little bit more intensity into the overnight. You're now looking at 2 or 3 a.m. They're out of our area completely, heading toward the Twin Cities, and their intensity may or may not be severe. That's Model A. We're going to look at Model B. Model B, this is your forecast for tonight. Model B shows our storms that are working their way through the area now. What time is this? This is going to be midnight right here. So both storms, this one doesn't show them well at all. It doesn't have anything moving through Fargo. I don't like this model. Boo. Okay, we're going to go to a different model. All right. That one did not initialize well. This is interesting. Do you see this development here? These two lines are merging. This model says, uh-oh, that's going to move north. So this has some heavy rain showers and thunderstorms pushing north into Highway 2. Something in my little brain here says that might happen. The cluster along the South Dakota border in west central Minnesota continues to move east and southeast. You're now looking at midnight. By midnight, it's mainly out of our area, heading into southern Minnesota. We have this northern cluster, but the intensity appears to diminish quickly as we go beyond midnight. And we're done, according to this. I think this model might be the best. Why? I can't tell you why I like it. I think I like it because I'm seeing two areas on the radar right now, if we go back, of radar movement. We got this band over here, this to the east, and it's moving this way. So if that model's correct and it gets out ahead of this main line, then it's going to push up through DL and on up to the north. And there is a chance for our northern counties close to Highway 200 seeing more rain and thunderstorms tonight. Not necessarily severe. A lot of this activity here moves this way and south and east. I buy that. That's where Hutch puts his 2 cents in the forecast, and that's what I think is going to happen there. We're getting some good moisture now. 5700s reported at the end on site for the Fargo area. Northern Cass 4200s right now. As we look up in Grand Forks, 5/100ths of an inch of rain in Grand Forks. Not a lot for you folks. Nothing up there well, let's see. We got over 2 inches reported in parts of Stutzman County from the North Dakota Agricultural Network. Tornado warning update. Mantador, Barney. You can see this comma shape to this. This is the outflow. This is the cold front of the storm blasting out towards Mantador. That area here, this backward C shape, gusty straight line winds, and a tornado warning is in effect. This storm here just merged with this other storm here. It'll be interesting if we still see this counterclockwise spinning mothership, if you will, work its way through. I want you to check this out, and I'm going to loop it. So here it is coming in, the main mothership storm that you were sharing, and now it's veering off to almost due east. You see that? It was moving this way, and now it's, oops, I'm going this way. This band of it is still moving south, but you can still see the counterclockwise circulation to this whole cluster of thunderstorms. One good thing is that the pinks and the hail core seems to be decreasing over the last couple of scans. What does that mean? Does that mean it's over? No. But what we can do now is look at the cloud tops with these storms. And I'm interested to see if the merger of those two cells is going to produce a decrease in the cloud top heights or the updraft, and it did. That second storm coming up from here may have interfered with the updraft of the main mothership storm that was moving out of Lisbon, that moved out of Fort Ransom, that moved out of Marion and caused damage. Very interesting stuff. Will that be the choker that chokes this storm out and ends it? That's pretty interesting stuff, don't you think? All right, I'm going to peruse for questions from you on all channels. I'm starting with the YouTube. YouTube, hi. Thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button, but I appreciate the like buttons as well. We've got upwards of 1,000. It looks like 750 people watching on YouTube right now. You all are the most goodest, and thanks for trusting Hutch with some information. Mike, good to see you here. Tammy, good to see you. Fergus Falls getting dark clouds and lightning. You betcha. And there's going to be a few more. And also Wadena seeing some of that activity move its way through. I am in Wyndmere, and the rain just got here. Very light wind, and the sirens were on, but then they shut them off. Good. I'm very glad to hear that. That storm was rotating, but you were right where those two storms merged. And I believe that there's some weird acts of nature that went on when the two storms merged together. So that's pretty hard to figure out for models and for Hutch's little brain. Well, it's a little bit hard, but it was interesting to watch. I'm glad that you noticed very little. Thank you, Jim, for your report. Hey, what website do you use for your charts here, Hutch? Thanks. I have a lot of websites. You can see here in my post, if you read below, that for my forecast model animations here, I use a site called Pivotal. This is a radar product, and I totally love this product. It's called Radar Omega. It's as good as anything I have ever used, and it's in as real a time as I can get. Real time as real can get. Fergus Falls, thunder now, lightning, sirens in Wahpeton, Otto, thank you. Here's what you need to know. There's a rotating storm, very gusty straight line winds. It's right here. You're looking at cloud top heights. I'm going to show you the regular radar so you can get a feel for it. It's moving into Morton right now. That storm is going to be bringing a chance for some gusty straight line winds. If we are lucky, this storm is going to be winding down in intensity because this one slammed into it and is getting sucked into the main event. Now, will it recover and blossom as it moves into Wahpeton? We don't know. But this backwards C shape to the last radar scan here tells Hutch that we have some gusty winds blowing from the west through Morton. Could get very gusty there. Wyndmere, you were right over this lull. Maybe the low pressure center moved right over you and things got a little quiet in your area. Pelican Rapids by Maplewood State Park, a few rumbles, but not much yet. Thank you. Forked lightning. I love forked lightning. And now I'm hungry. Thank you for that. I'm kidding. Geronimo, storms freak me out. Thank you for helping calm the anxiety. Looks like it'll miss where you're at. Appreciate what I do. Thank you, Geronimo. And storms are hit and miss, and storms are nerve-wracking. They give us a lot of anxiety. Me too sometimes. I hate lightning because I can't predict where it's going to happen, and I can't react fast enough when I see one, right? So the best thing you can do is stay informed. So I'm glad you're doing that. Thank you very much. All right. Nasty stuff hanging south of I-94. Yep, that looks to be the case. And that's been my prognostics here the last hour or so. Thank you so very much. Is my small dog safe to go outside? Tyler, I don't know. How small is your dog? And is it on a leash? And are you in the storm area or are you not? Regardless, I wouldn't take my small dog out, Pedro, in lightning. Not going to do it. And it wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. South of Fairmount, we got a intensifying cell with some hail in it. They're right over I-27, Highway 127, not I-27. Thank you so much. That's south of Wahpeton there. So that one is stout and strong and moving in. We got some heaters moving out of South Dakota in the Britain area. These are blowing towards Lake City. The latest radar loop shows that, well, man, these are meanders and wanders, but these puppies are fidizzling out. They're losing their punchy-osy. These are maintaining some intensity, particularly the one on the far south and west side here, moving through the Columbia area and near Putney. That's in northern parts of Brown County, just south of you folks in that, well, area of the Sand Lake National Wildlife Refuge and south of Hecla. That's a pretty stout storm right there. At this point, not severe warned. This little wanderer out here near Fullerton, you're going to get another batch of rain. You see it wandering in right now? Heading to Fullerton. Be ready. It's a thunder shower. Tornado warning gone. Yes. Okay. You know what that means? We have a severe thunderstorm warning. It's blowing into the general direction of you folks in Morton. I'm going to take a look at the velocities for you because that's what Hutch does. The spin. You can still see it spinning a little bit, but the radar in Aberdeen, it's important to know which radar you're looking at, okay, is showing that we have some weak shear still near the Wyndmere area, away towards, okay? So there is some spin in the atmosphere, but remember, this is where that mesoscale convective complex that I was showing you is. So there's going to be some broad rotation in that in the area of low pressure created by this cluster of storms. So that's not unheard of. It's also not unheard of that this storm could produce a tornado still. What does the Weather Service say? Tornado possible. There we go. We just figured it out together. The National Weather Service, they say that too. Nickel-sized hail from this. The warning lasts for 12 more minutes. Okay. Is the rotation moving into Wahpeton, Breckenridge? Good question. Let's go up and let's switch our radars up. And I want to look at the one up north. It's farther away, but I want to look at it for a specific reason. This is showing that the shear is over here, not over here. Real important. The shear, the motion toward the radar and away from the radar is still over the Barney and Wyndmere area. In fact, it's also up here to the north, not far from Colfax and Walcott. This whole area is this is the area of that whole mesoscale system churning. What you're looking at is wind blowing toward the radar here, and you're looking at wind blowing away from the Mayville radar here. Okay. This doesn't mean there's a tornado on the ground, but it means this whole system above our heads right now in the southern Red River Valley is rotating, it's spinning. There's some change in wind direction in the area. Doesn't mean there's a tornado necessarily, but these storms will be capable of it for the short term at the very least. We have linear winds, straight line winds blowing out of places like Horace, Oxbow, Kindred. These winds are blowing away from the Mayville radar, likely in a direction where this storm is moving, more a west-northwesterly direction from those winds. Pedro shaking off the cold, right? There's a song about that. Oh, flood warning. Flood warning just issued. This is for the Fargo area. You don't get it faster than that. This flood warning is not the necessarily, oh, it is. It's a river flood warning. Maybe it was just updated here. At 19 feet, Main Avenue is closed. At 9:15, the stage is 18 feet. It's expected to go to 20. Thanks to all this rain, widespread rain, we're going to see the river rise back up well above flood stage. Not terrible for the city of Fargo, but in our northern and southern communities, we're going to see that level maintained at those bridge levels. You guys are awesome. Now I'm caught up with my YouTube friends. Let me go catch up with my Facebook friends. Y'all are my friends. Thank you so much for your trust and for following me here on these broadcasts. This has been a long one. Sirens going off again, Garrett says, in Wahpeton. This is a windy line of thunderstorms, and if you look at Wahpeton, it gets easy to lose places in here. Let me show you. There's Sabin, there's Abercrombie, Wahpeton. The radar in Mayville shows your winds are more this way out of Wahpeton. That's what your surface winds are doing. They're this way, okay? Unidirectional wind. This wind is also blowing into the storm, okay? This is the stuff we got to watch out for. This stuff here in Wyndmere when it starts blowing out that way. So there could be some spinning going on in this storm. When you think this will enter Minnesota, southwest Minnesota, as Moorhead has pouring rain. Thank you, Chanel. I appreciate your comments. Yeah, it's also dark. I just noticed when I was in here, it wasn't dark. Come back if you need to. Yep, I could use a break. But I do want to look at a couple of things here yet, as I always do. Even if I take a break and go off the air, I'm still looking at this stuff. Y'all got to understand that. Here's a look at the spinning motion that's in the area near Colfax right here. So that's the reason I'm more concerned about this is because the green and the reds are touching each other. There's no white in between. There's no light gray in between. So there's still some spin in this storm. And it's not far from Walcott, and it's outside of Colfax. And it's how far outside of Colfax? Due west of you by about 6 miles. Pretty strong winds in Walcott, Ali says. Thank you very much. It's nice to know, what you're noticing with the storm as well. We're not going to get real great Doppler radar measurements of wind speed with this at this particular point, just because of where our radars are located with respect to this storm. Storm threat. The severe thunderstorm watch has been dropped in a few counties. Let me highlight where that is so you can see. Here we go. Done. Your threat is done in Grand Forks. I think you're all but done in Bismarck. There's a couple of strong storms out in the Bismarck area, but realistically, the strongest of the storms are farther to the south and pretty much wrapping up. So, severe weather threat remains in effect for southeastern North Dakota, the James River Valley. This is only until 10 o'clock, so for the next couple of minutes, let me double check that here. What about west central Minnesota? West central Minnesota has it in effect until midnight, it looks like, 2 hours and 7 minutes. Aberdeen, 7 minutes left. Fargo, an hour and 7 minutes. It looks like they may have, did they extend it, or did I just not pay close enough attention when it was issued? All these counties have different end times, an hour and 7 minutes for Fargo, Lemoore, Ellendale. So that puts us at about 11 o'clock at night tonight. I could have swore it said 7 o'clock early, or excuse me, 10 o'clock for the end time earlier tonight. Looks like we got a flood watch for the Red River in Richland County. And that also includes your neighbors there on the Red River Valley in western Minnesota for parts of Traverse and Wilkin counties as well. Or I should say Wilkin, right? Okay, you're welcome. Appreciate you all very much for your kind words. I'm looking for questions here, seeing if we got everything. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to look real quick and see if I've got any more pictures uploaded. I think we're caught up there. Severe thunderstorms working their way in towards the Wahpeton-Breckenridge area. There's some lightning, there's some thunder, there's some gusty wind. There has been an active tornado warning recently. Benson, Morris, your area, seeing some strong thunderstorms. We have a warning in Little Falls. Let me cover that for you. This is for 1 1/4 inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds. I didn't expect this, but this pink cell right here by Belle Prairie, just north and east of the Little Falls area, moving east. It's moving east at a clip of, it looks like about 30 miles per hour or so. Was capable of huge hail as it was in the western reaches of the warned area along the Highway 10 corridor. And now it looks like it's decreasing in intensity a touch. So sometimes, even in areas I'm not expecting the severe storms, we can get a severe thunderstorm to fire up. Now we go back to our area real quickly. There is 5 minutes left in this severe thunderstorm warning. The gusty straight line winds are moving right through Morton now, and this hail core and thunderstorm core moving in the general direction of you folks in Wahpeton and Breckenridge. Will it remain severe? It's pretty strong. The hail core does look like it's subsided a bit. The wind threat with this may still be quite strong, but I'm not certain of all the wind measurements we're getting from this cell from the ground stations. What about Park Rapids, Minnesota? These cells in the Detroit Lakes area will be lifting north just a little bit, and I do think we'll have some rain and thunder in the Park Rapids area. This area up here has a lot lower energy in the atmosphere for thunderstorms to continue, and therefore the risk of severe is very low in your area for the way it looks now. But that said, just south of Brainerd here, Little Falls, a thunderstorm just fired up because it felt like it, and it became severe because it did, and it made big hail. So that can happen sometimes in an environment such as this. I think we're on the downhill side of this puppy. Tell you what's going to happen. I am going to take a break at the cancellation of this warning. I am looking at it right now. I'm going to look at all the best information I have on the sideline right now. I'm looking at wind speed and peak gusts reported from the ENDON cluster of instruments. And it looks like the lightning is fun out here, isn't it? Looks like the peak gust from this storm at 33 feet was about 40 miles per hour in Richland County. I'm not seeing, at least the stationary instruments that we have across the area, seeing many peak gusts that were too substantial from this line of storms moving through Richland County. That is good news, right? The instruments we have not catching the strongest of the winds. But that doesn't mean that this little batch of wind moving right here towards the Wahpeton area behind my hand isn't a little stronger than what went over the instruments. This is at what we would call the apex of a bow echo, and the winds would be from the west, And because it's bowing out, the strongest of the winds tend to be pushing it into this bow shape. So there could be some gustier winds, stronger than, say, 40 to 50 miles per hour in that. And that's what we need to watch for. So we'll see what the Weather Service wants to do with this warning. I'm glad that's their problem and not mine, but it does look like there's been a general trend towards a weakening of the intensities. There's been a general trend towards a weakening of the echo tops, in other words, a lowering of them. Earlier, we saw these bright orange colors. Now we just have this little kind of faint orange color on the latest scan on this cell near Morton. How tall is that cloud top? 42,000 feet. Oh, it just dropped. Okay, it's collapsing right over Morton, right over Morton. So that's good news too. So that storm is decreasing in its height, as are all of these storms north of South Dakota. These storms out here still have some real high height to them in Benson. You see all the oranges there? So those cloud tops are exceedingly high over Morris, over Benson, and heading in the general direction of Paynesville right now. Hancock, those storms have a height of 50,000 feet. Those are the main event. Now, I think we're on the collapse side. The energy in the atmosphere may be stolen by those storms. That's what it looks like to me. Everybody, I appreciate you. I've been on for an awful long time tonight, and I know that. I know that you've checked in from time to time to see what's going on in your area, and I really appreciate your trust. Thank you for watching. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here. That doesn't mean I'm not quitting on you. I'm going to keep my eyes on it. I'll let you know if something becomes severe, and I'm going to go grab myself a break here because I need one, and I will be back in a bit here to keep you updated. Sirens in Wahpeton, Otis says, heavy rain, Glendon, thunder, rattling windows. Yep, it's going to be noisy, but I'd rather have noisy than tornado warnings. And I think, with all my heart, we may be done with the risk for tornadoes in our neck of the woods here, even though this was a very tightly rotating cluster of thunderstorms. So, reflectivity. Oh, I just looked, and a warning's been issued for Fergus Falls. So, this windy line of storms right here and this rotating cluster has prompted the National Weather Service to extend a warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, for places like Abercrombie, Dwight, Wahpeton. It's this entire area. It went back to Barney. So they're including this whole area in one huge thunderstorm warning for all these thunderstorm cells. What does that mean? Not all of us in this big, huge polygon area are going to see a severe thunderstorm type of thing. We're not all getting hail 1 inch in diameter. We're all not going to get 60-mile-per-hour winds, but you know that. This storm moving towards Wahpeton, though, does have the backward C shape, and there is some gusty wind potential from the storm. And so the National Weather Service has chosen, and rightfully so, to extend a warning for Richland County, and that extends all the way into you folks in the Wilkin County area and parts of western Otter Tail County, right up into Fergus Falls. So the Highway 210 corridor, Fergus Falls to Wahpeton, all along that through Foxhome. We do have a nasty line of storms that is kind of persistent down here near Nashua, Campbell, those areas in Tenney. Been a few spinners down in that neck of the woods over the last few years, hasn't there? Those storms continue. Yeah, you can still see the spiraling with this. Do you look at it? Line 1 merging with line 2, and it's still wrapping around. There's the center. You see the hole in the storm right there, the donut? Is that still over Windmere? Yeah, it's over Windmere and Barney. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning. Wahpeton, Breckenridge, gusty straight line winds will be the main threat. Hail is not. The hail risk is about nickel-sized. Nickel-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts from this severe thunderstorm. But not all of us will get it that are in the warned area. Isolated areas. Best chance, Wahpeton, Breckenridge. That's a good chance at seeing it there. And there's also the Hankinson area with this leading edge of storms right here moving in. And there it's moving into Hankinson right now. So right along the South Dakota border, we have some very stout, severe thunderstorms. The warning continues. Excuse me. Hutch has got to take a break. I will be back with continuing coverage. If storms approach you, stay safe, Stay informed and stay away from windows. Report any severe weather to your local authorities. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate your support here on Hutch's Weather. I'll step out for now, and I'll continue to track the storm for you one way or the other right here on Hutch's Weather. Thanks so much.